Hawaii just got invited to join the Pac-12, and with this new conference comes harder games, but at least we're supposed to move into a new stadium and get new uniforms this year. We could change the trajectory of football in Hawaii this season, except there is one issue. Our stadium construction is not complete, and even worse, our jerseys aren't done either. Before you blame anybody on the island for this, the true person to blame is the company that released an unfinished beta as a new game. So as excited as I was to get us into our new stadium, the show must go on, and with such an important season on the line, I've brought some fun challenges to make each game special. Even with this difficult schedule ahead of us, our goal for the year is to finish on top of the Pac-12. However, it'll be a little bit harder when every time we lose a game, we have to spin the punishment wheel. On the other side of things though, every time that we're able to win a game, I let you all build out this wheel that has some positive bonuses for our program. Let's just hope that is the wheel that we're going to spend more time on. Now, this is what our starting offense is looking like headed into season 5. We brought in senior transfer running back Colt Simon from Duke. He is 93 speed, 99 acceleration, and my favorite thing, platinum shifty. We also have quarterback Brandon Gibbons back for a final season where he just led us to Hawaii's best season ever. Then on the defensive side, we're pretty well balanced over here, so I think we can hold our own against most teams on our schedule. The most exciting guy on this side of the ball happens to be junior corner Dwayne Mahoney. He can get so much better, so he will probably decide to transfer at the end of this season. Who knows though, we are ranked 18th in the country to start this season, so it's an exciting time to get into Hawaii football. I mean, who can forget that we just watched Winston Malone win back-to-back Doak Walker Awards. He is now graduated, but he's been replaced by Colt Simon, and also Ronnie Malik winning the Jet Award for all of his kick returns. We have set a new standard at Hawaii, which is why our athletic director wants us to win 75% of our conference games the first year that we're joining the Pac-12. That right there is no small task. It is going to set us up to have a very hard season in this video, though after reading the comments, you all suggested I try the Cal playbook, so maybe this offense is going to have us doing even better. We are also going to heavily target 4 stars in recruiting for the first time. Trayvon Lampman is a 4-star gym with 99 speed. Even our future quarterback could be in this class. These two are guys to keep an eye on, but there is somebody I'm a little bit biased on. He's from Hawaii, so we still have to give him a chance. Then, of course, D'Angelo Bakatari. I've already offered him a scholarship because if we have a 4-star gym from Hawaii, we are going to remain loyal to that player. We can win this battle. We also have so much money available to spend in high school recruiting because next year, we're not going to be paying $1,500 to upgrade our facilities. That was a huge investment we had at the end of last season. Now, our elite facilities were supposed to match a new stadium and new jerseys, but that isn't happening. On the bright side, it is still a good move for the program, and we have put a lot of money into the fundraising department, so we can get 1,700 points to spend in the transfer portal at the end of this year. We're also going to reduce our NIL expectations by a little bit. This was a really cheap upgrade. Our support staff just continues to get better and better, but before we can take on #1 Oregon in this video, we have to face off against rivals Wyoming to open up the year. 100% chance of precipitation. There is going to be a lot of rain in this game, and you all might recognize one of the names on Wyoming's roster already. This is the team that we lost starting receiver Desmond Hardy to. He wanted so much money, but I guess Wyoming was willing to fork it up, so we're going to be facing off against one of our former receivers. He is 6'5", by the way. They also have a 77 overall QB. Not much speed, though, to worry about. He is 68 speed, and their running backs have 81 speed and 78. Really, I'm just ready to get back to playing games with Hawaii. Let's start this season right. Let's hopefully be spinning the winning wheel and not the punishment wheel at the end of this first game. And here we are back in our same stadium because the construction of the new one just didn't finish. At least in Hawaii, that's a little bit of a believable story. For my mini rant, though, what are we doing over at EA this year? I set up this entire series on Team Builder so we could use the new feature of upgrading the stadium, upgrading the jerseys. It could be such a neat feature. It just doesn't function for most of the player base. In fact, the craziest part is it worked before the first patch, and now it doesn't work, and we don't know how long it's going to be before it works again. I think it's just such a big disservice to everybody that spends a lot of money to get this game earlier that you have to go through months of the game getting through bugs, getting through issues, and it feels like you're playing a beta. The people that are spending the most money on your games, you're giving the worst product, and then the people that get to buy it for a lot cheaper later on, they get the best version of it. I'm just thankful for the modding community. They're doing amazing things already to fix a lot of the issues with the game because I love college football. I love it so much. That's why it's just frustrating that we're now in our 3rd year of the game launching with a bunch of bugs, especially new features that you market the game on. Those should work before anything else. I can't even say I'm mad. I'm just disappointed. I thought by year 3 they were going to nail it. I was told that they were going to nail it. And then you all have seen how all of this has come out. I really try to keep it positive. It's just been hard when there's so many bugs out there. I don't speak on most stuff that isn't working either. Like, you can't transfer your final year in Road to Glory. It is what it is. Let's just have fun with Hawaii. We are tied 17-17 in this series with Wyoming. We also have some new players on defense, like Peacock was about to fill that hole. Jatavius Wiley is not new, though. The junior linebacker is looking to make a play here. And you can only take away so many routes. What is the computer doing? That looked horrendous. That might be the worst clip we've seen through 5 seasons. Desmond Hardy, what are you going to do on 3rd down? It's just a check down? And he made one of our guys miss. We are going to be getting this ball back, though. And surprisingly, we have a new returner out there. We have a new returner. This might be a mistake. I should have just kept it as Ronnie Malik, but Colt Simon has that platinum shifty. He has the 93 speed, the 99 acceleration. I figured that might transfer really well to the return game, but we'll see. He is already exploding on him. Let's see if we can hit Wyoming with a counter 2 on 2nd and 1. Nobody blocked him. We might be looking for Pat Tapp off of the RPO. He's been our backup tight end for a little bit, and now he's the starter. That is a play I like to see in this California playbook so far. Inside zone is going to be explosive, and this is where Colt Simon is going to do his damage. Could we be going for 3 straight Doak Walker awards? You know, come to think of it, as much as I think he'd be a really OP returner, Ronnie Malik does not deserve to lose his starting spot here. I also just realized in the entire intro, I somehow did not mention our home winning streak, which is sitting at 16 games. We were going to take that streak into the new stadium, trying to build up one of the most feared atmospheres in the Pac-12. What we are seeing out of Wyoming's offense so far, though, honestly, it just feels pathetic. They can't even catch the ball. I know that it's raining. I know that they're a lot lower overalls than some of the guys on our team, but still, Wyoming is really playing bad right now, and Ronnie Malik getting his first return of the season. It's not bad. Knowing that last year's team was able to beat the Cowboys 38-7, it kind of has me feeling this first game is almost like a warm-up. It's not the worst thing in the world for us, though. It gives us a little bit of a chance to experiment and see if we can fit balls in there like this. Okay, it is now 3rd and 7. We throw it out to David DeMarco, and he is short. 4th and inches, we will get aggressive early against the Cowboys, and they are all over the run. You know, maybe we shouldn't be taking them lightly. It doesn't take much for them to respond. I also don't know what we're going to do next year when guys like Matthew Sherrills are no longer on the team. They've been with us for so long. What we discovered last season was coming out in the 4-3, we did a really good job of stopping the run most of the time. You all always make comments about my tackles, though. Even though I tried to stop with a lot of the diving tackles, you would say I just saw a Hawaiian linebacker dive through my backyard. Listen, I see it. I'm hoping that on defense we can do a little bit better this year, but that was just nasty. I'm actually really frustrated they got a 1st down off of that and that they're about to get a touchdown. You know what might help, though? A new stadium where we could fit over 30,000 fans in it. That could be a little bit beneficial. We still got Colt Simon on returns. He will just be sharing those with Ronnie Malik depending on what side of the field it goes to, and then punt returns, obviously, all Ronnie Malik. I don't think you all understand, man. I have been waiting for that feature to work. I waited like 5 days just trying it over and over. We had so many new jersey combinations ready. I was so pumped up for the new stadium. So that's why I'm so frustrated. And we got to lock in. As we approach the end of the first quarter, we have to punt it back to Wyoming. It is going to be all tied up at 7, and we aren't able to get off of that block and make a tackle. I have to reprogram my brain to do hit stick tackles instead. We got to be playing for the RPO, though. Jatavius Wiley catches him. It's a little bit of a different look on defense. We don't have Tyreek Tate to run down some of these guys. And once again, another RPO. You would think if we just played underneath that we'd probably stop most of their plays. That is why it is exactly what we are doing. And this is simple. Just wrap up. Normally, one of the things the computer does an amazing job of is signing kickers and punters in Dynasty, but it turns out Wyoming is not going to attempt a field goal from there. That makes me happy, though, because Colt Simon is going to get his opportunity to go for a 93-yard touchdown run. And he doesn't feel that elusive. I don't know if it's because it's raining so hard or what, but we want to see that shifty actually go to work like this. The fun part about this team, too, is if they get too aggressive into trying to stop him running the football, David DeMarco is able to outrun the defense. I just don't personally know if Brandon Gibbons has the arm strength to get it to him. Looks like we're going to be on a 3rd and 5. Ronnie Malik, I need you to get open here, or we will find David DeMarco. That works for me. There's 3.5 minutes left in this first half. And get a run to the outside. Get a run to the outside. Turn that corner. Colt Simon is also going to spin out a defender. With how slow that spin move just was, though, he is not going to be doing any juke moves throughout this season. There was a J.J. Bradley appearance. He has not appeared for us too much in this dynasty, but every so often he sneaks onto the field. That was Carter Cager with that catch. He was another transfer that we just brought in, and this should be a touchdown. I mean, this just has to be a touchdown, right? Nobody's catching Colt Simon. We might be able to get this ball back to end the first half too. Parker Graves is getting blocked so well. I just want you to keep in mind, Wyoming is most likely like the easiest team on our schedule this season. So, however we do against them, every team past that is going to be more challenging. I think one thing that we learned was we can find some success in cover one. So as we move forward in the future, we might switch our coverage up more from being zone coverage to man, and that's just going to be another nice play out of them. Prince Cottenham sneaking down to try and help stop the run. Then here on 2nd and 7, it's a bubble, and we should have been on it. We should have known it was coming. If they decide to throw up a jump ball here, we are in some trouble. I saw the run coming. I think my favorite defense once you get into this position, though, is just sitting in a Tampa 2 and forcing them to make a play. That is a touchdown for Desmond Hardy. Ronnie Malik just end this first half with a bang. This has been a little bit of a rough game for us so far, but Ronnie Malik is also going to get a lot more reps receiving. I'm excited to see what he can do. 1st and 10 looks like they are going to go with some man-to-man coverage. I thought they picked that. What we are really going to need here is David DeMarco to come up with a huge play. And if David DeMarco's open, we would be in field goal range. Instead, we might have just put them in field goal range. Luckily, they only made it to the 41. We know they don't trust their kicker from this distance. But I was trying to cut down on the interceptions this year, and we're going to be tied up at 14. Headed into halftime. Let's just go ahead and knock that down. Little bit of a rough opener for us in Season 5. This is the best roster that we have ever had from top to bottom. I think the weather has played a big role in that, though, and we're not going anywhere. When you have somebody with speed like Colt Simon does, you got to get him to the outside and then let him get those bursts of acceleration. We also have to be willing to push those limits against Wyoming's pass coverage too. I think this could be a huge run for us, bringing over the extra blocker. Just got to make sure we get off of that tackle. A little bit of a tough one for Colt Simon. It is going to be 2nd and 13, and we got to pass it again. I'm not sure if we are even going to get open here, but I noticed that they were pressing, and Cager has beat his man. He's a little guy, but it works out for us. He was able to just get right under. That is a clean start to this second half. And come on, let us get that interception. 2nd and 10, man-to-man coverage once again. Everything's taken away. Everything is taken away. There he is. Dwayne Mahoney. Dwayne Mahoney. Is it a pick six? Is it a pick six? Dwayne Mahoney does it. What a play. I told you that was our guy on defense. I am all of a sudden feeling so much better about this matchup. I was thinking that they were just going to run it here. We'll stay in man-to-man. We will make them beat it first, and then once they start beating it, we will switch up. Looks like they are going to have nobody open here. Nobody open. You're not catching that. What I'm most interested in, though, is how they handle a 3rd and 6. Rob Jorgensen is in a QB spy, and it's just off target. Cortez Cole is feeling the pressure. The lights have been too bright for him, even in our smaller stadium. Looks like Ronnie Malik is going to have an opportunity to break off a 1. Nothing past that, though, and I wish that we had a scrambler quarterback. This makes me want to really look at some of those high school quarterbacks that have like 89 speed. We've just had a little bit of a different style with Trey Sheffield and Brandon Gibbons as starters. It might be better for the program, though. I'm not sure. I mean, we've had our best season with Brandon Gibbons. I'm very curious what our offense looks like through the air here, though. We've done a lot of stuff on the ground. Carter Cager is just dusting his man once again. Can he get around another? Oh, he can. This little guy might just have what it takes to carry us all the way to a Pac-12 championship appearance this year. That's what I'm hoping for. It is kind of the main goal of this season. I feel like that'd be very successful for us to start our Pac-12 conference years with a conference championship appearance. Just another touchdown for Colt Simon. It happened so fast, but this game is just starting to get out of hand, and I think they're going to punt it. This is good news for us, though. Up by 21, we are going to put in the backups. My reasoning behind this is I want everybody on our team to get some reps, and we haven't done a great job of that. I don't want wear and tear to be an issue later in the season either. What's it going to hurt for Trey Sheffield to start playing again and to let J.J. Bradley get some carries? You might think it's a little bit too early to put in the backups, and you might be right, but at the same time, we were able to get rid of half of the fourth quarter already, and I highly doubt Wyoming is going to score 21. It has been fun to leave in the backups on defense too, just because we have a lot of 2-stars from Hawaii that we have recruited that would never play. In this situation, though, they've gotten their opportunity at the end of the game, and it's going to be a 4th and 2. What I will say is we definitely have a depth issue. If we are going to have a lot of guys out this season, it could be a problem. With that hit, though, we're just going to run out the final few minutes and take our first win over Wyoming. I won't lie, at the end of this one, I am trying to feel a little bit of Trey Sheffield magic again, so we're trying to score. With us being marked down short at the 1, though, we have one final play, and Trey Sheffield is going to make it into the end zone. It's a little bit disrespectful, but at the same time, there are rivals. This right here is how you end a game. It's how you set the tone, because we are about to head to #1 Oregon, where we have a tough one. I really do think we have found another gem at running back with Colt Simon. There just tends to be a history of Colts having success with Hawaii. Now it is time for us to spin this wheel. We are going to get the Hawaiian sunset has inspired our defensive line, so +3 awareness for all of our starters for 2 games. This isn't a major boost to some of these guys, especially since some of the lost ones are just players getting suspended for certain reasons, but you know what? We're going to take it. I will be very open to other suggestions in the comments too. I let you all just build these out through my Instagram story, through some of your all's ideas. We're already winning both Conference Player of the Weeks. We now have to take a look at recruiting though, because this is where we can tell. Are we going to have a chance at signing D'Angelo Bakatari? It looks like we will. Nobody wants the Hawaiian quarterback. We might actually have to pay him. It might just be how it goes. When it comes to Jarius Lemon, though, the gym, the pocket passer, 79 speed, I think that Indiana is going to be able to win out. When it comes to Iowa pursuing this quarterback, 6'4" from New Jersey, we might actually be able to get him 91 speed. Maybe we go after 2. I also don't think we're getting Traven Lampman if both Oregon and BYU want him, but since he has 99 speed, we're just going to offer him a mega scholarship. I know it's an overpay, but we're going to do it. We're just going to start throwing around a little bit of money. I want Stan McGann. It makes sense to offer somebody like him 320. Then you look at our Hawaiian quarterback with just 84 throw power and not very good accuracy. Shifty ability is cool, but a weak arm, so we're not going to pay him as much money. There's another really interesting thing I want to note too. There's a couple receivers, both with 98 speed at the bottom of our board, that nobody seems to want at the moment, so maybe these are the guys that we decide to target. I don't know, we still have a long season ahead of us, and their acceleration isn't that high. Acceleration is more important than speed, in my opinion. What we have to worry about here is such a big game, because Oregon is going to come in with a strong defensive line. They're going to have Bryson Beaver at quarterback, who is an 89 overall. They're going to have running backs that can do some damage. They're going to have receivers like Coral Robinson with his 94 speed that is hard to stop. It is going to be the game of the week, though. So if we could somehow win, this would do numbers to our brand exposure, and it would most likely put us in the running to get into the playoff, even if we lost another game throughout the season. Oregon has been one of those teams that is just a pain to face off against, though I think last season we were able to beat them. Never mind, I was getting them confused with USC. This is a different beast, especially with some of the guys that they have. I expect that they're going to be able to run the football decently well against us. I also can't imagine that we're going to be in man coverage too often on 2nd and 9. I mean, he's just so open. Scrambles open too. Dwayne Mahoney, knock it out. Okay, I think I've decided Rob Jorgensen is going to have to be in a QB spy. We have pass committed. We are trying to take away everything from the Ducks, and we brought him down short. It is moments like that that even give us a chance in this game. Colt Simon is actually back there for the return. Hang on. What does Colt Simon do? We needed that to be Ronnie Malik to have a chance with it, though Oregon's players are just faster. They're never going to make it easy. I have to say, those overalls actually aren't all that intimidating, but their defensive line is good. It is where we are going to run into a majority of our problems, and Colt Simon's going to have a great game. We are going to need to get him out in space as soon as we possibly can, and this is a great opportunity to do so. Looks like nobody is on that outer edge, though he is going to get caught up to. I will give this outside zone one more chance, just because it was in the coach suggestions, and I got to go middle. Both times it has just resulted in a 3-yard loss, trying to take it to the outside. Colt Simon, though, makes up for it on the next play. We had an injury timeout. Luckily, it was just for one of our guards, so not going to affect us too much. We might need to start passing too, though. So, on second down, we just find David DeMarco real fast, and he jukes backwards. You know what? We might have had the first down otherwise. That could be costly if Colt Simon wasn't as good as he is. Truthfully, though, right there, that was just our offensive line doing all of the work. And it does stink that he doesn't have juke moves to use. It's just something we're going to have to get used to. Now, what happened there? I feel like there was definitely some PI going on. We are just going to have to return to the ground and reach for it. The fact that we are able to establish the run like this against Oregon shows all the work that we have put into our offensive line is actually paying off. We might be able to pull off the upset. I mean, if we're starting this game off this way, I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. It is not going to take long for them to strike back with huge plays like that. Just get us a turnover. I mean, if Matthew Sherrills could pull that off, that would cement his legacy with us immensely. We missed that tackle. I don't know if we should be going for the hit stick there, though. If we should just be trying to crack him from a distance. 2nd and 2, this is a run. This is a run, and Prince Cottenham is going to be all over it. He took a stiff arm to the face to slow that one down, and then Matthew Sherrills does it here. What is interesting is Oregon is set to go for it. They don't snap the ball, so we'll see if they decide to revisit a different way as we go into the second quarter. They don't, though. They are doubling down on being aggressive here, and unfortunately, they have the touchdown. We know it is stops like that that would give us a real chance at the upset against the Ducks, but we just could not get it there. I am really trying to give Colt Simon a break as well by going to the air a little bit more often. Why is David DeMarco so injured? He is already depleted a little bit due to wear and tear. The blitz is not going to work. Pat Tapp gets 15. Now we go for a stretch play, and that is where the speed can really make a difference. When I saw he was available in the transfer portal, I mean, I just could not believe what I was seeing. Give him a chance to get out of bounds. Maybe something we should be doing is avoiding a little bit more contact with him if he is going to get fed the ball so many times throughout this year. J.J. Bradley with 9. We are low-key running a clinic on the Ducks at the moment, and that's a first. I will say more and more of our offensive linemen are getting injured, which really concerns me for this game since it's still earlier. I don't know how long we can go with losing an 82 overall and having to replace him with a 73. We also might be setting up to get held to just a field goal on this drive. We should have had that. We are not going to be able to audible anything here. Getting caught on your offensive line when you're trying to scramble is the worst feeling. Let's throw it up. Let's throw it up to Pat Tapp. Pat Tapp is in the end zone, and it is a flag on the Ducks. That is how you make a play. It was a risky one, but it pays off. If we are able to win this game, you are going to be telling your grandchildren one of these days about the time that Hawaii walked into Autzen Stadium. They were able to take down the Ducks. That was scary. That didn't make me feel too good, though. Bubble screen potentially. Good decision to run. I would really love to avoid them closing out this first half, tying things up at 14. But, I mean, this guy's just good. LaMarcus Newkirk has some really good vision, and they're going to get out this throw very fast. It's exactly what they were looking for. On 2nd and 6, I was trying to take away the outside run, but it just hurt us. You're going to notice that this first half has kind of flown by so far. I still feel like we're playing all right. Are they going to motion over a running back and then get a carry? They are. Let's run commit middle. Let's run commit middle and still give up the first. This is our zone, though, to prevent them from getting a touchdown, to hold them to just a field goal. We're running with some cover 3 flats right now, and I saw him getting open. We scouted Corell Robinson. We knew that if he was going to get the ball, he was going to be hard once he held on to it because of his speed. It is just the way that it goes, though, and I thought that was a pick. Autzen Stadium makes things a little bit challenging for us. I think they're going to send a blitz on this play, though. It has turned into zone coverage. We'll get it to Colt Simon. Luckily for us at the moment, Stadium Pulse actually isn't going all that crazy, but we're throwing it straight at him. And Pat Tapp, what was that animation? I know he wasn't open, but we came back to the ball. We were able to get our hands on it first, and instead, he just lets it bump off of his shoulder into a pick. The worst part about that read from Brandon Gibbons is he could have had Colt Simon, but he was just trying to get somebody else the ball. And look at this. I mean, what are we doing? You completely miss it, You just completely miss it. Pat Tap. Come on, buddy. I think this legitimately might have hit straight off of his helmet. It is those mistakes right there that lose us these games. It's how we've lost to ranked opponents in the past. You're bound to make them. It's just frustrating because stops are hard to come by. We did get one against Oregon, but now we're looking for another here at the end of the half, and Prince Cottenham is able to respond. Hang on. We're not out. The senior safety has set us up to potentially even get in field goal range. We aren't going to force things, though. If nobody's open, we just kind of throw it away. We're trying to be a little bit more patient. We are going to look for man-to-man coverage here. That's what they're giving us. And David DeMarco comes back to the ball, sheds a tackle. I'm a little worried that they're trying to make him a non-factor in this game. Nobody wants to guard Colt Simon. It does seem like either Ronnie Malik or Pat Tap is going to get open here. It is Ronnie Malik that needs to make the catch. That'll give us one more play. I do believe it is important to be realistic here, too. We have a senior kicker now. Why not set him up to be in field goal range? Raheem Rivera could have drilled it from farther back, but from the 44-yard line, this is just a much more manageable kick, and we have a lead on Oregon at the half. I wish that you were able to see the mascot's eyes up on the big screen before you attempted the kick. It'd be more of a distraction that way. They'd have to adjust the angle that you're kicking from, though, with that camera. I have to say, y'all are automatically going to grill me for the interception anyway, but this is a good game. We played a solid first half against Oregon. Here to start the second half, we're going to make it a 3rd and 5. We just have to figure out what coverage they're in and if we are able to get anybody open. David DeMarco hangs on. That takes the pressure a little bit off. We find him again. Unfortunately, though, audibles are not working right now, which means we are most likely just going to have a busted play here unless this somehow worked out. That was a really risky throw from Brandon Gibbons. We should know with his arm strength, he's just not going to make that play for us. We also need to have a bubble here. If we are able to audible to a bubble, that would be so clutch. It's not letting us. It might have, though. Hang on. Pat Tap gets another catch. If he was faster, we could have even more yards. You know, I take it back, though. I'm not going to be too hard on him. I think he's got like 84, 85 speed for a tight end, which is a lot. I mean, it would have been nice to have a receiver in that situation, like Carter Cager. Is this some foreshadowing? Is this some foreshadowing? They're all over him. Okay, 3rd and 4. He is going to be my main read still for us to pick this up. However, it's Pat Tap that's open. I didn't even know what button he was. I just took a guess there, and if it went to another receiver, I would have been hearing about it. Oregon is going to make it very hard, of course, to finish off this drive, though. We will give one more carry to Colt Simon. It will be 3rd and goal. This is where you need playmakers. David DeMarco, I don't think he's going to get open versus this corner, but we're going to see. We're going to give him a chance, and he dropped it. Now you have that question. Do you kick in this situation, or do you go for it? I'm having a really hard time making this decision because I'm not sure if some of our guys are able to get open. I think we're just going to have to kick. Another tip I learned from the comments from you all, though, one of you told me, if you're going to decide on that, just take the flag. There's no reason to burn a timeout. You know, you would think that would be common sense, and the second you think about it, it actually is. But last episode, I did use a timeout. We are not going to be that wasteful here. Oregon is going to hand this ball off. Rob Jorgensen all over him. The senior is making plays, and we are ready to jump this RPO if they even dare to throw it. Okay, it's a run. And they clicked me onto the wrong player there. If you're wondering why there was a lunging tackle, it's because I was trying to get onto the guy that was being held up with a block. Now, this isn't terrible. I feel like we had everything kind of shut down there. We are going to use Matthew Sherrills in this position, though, to take away some of these other routes, and he just can't get over to it. That was a really well-placed ball. It's exactly what you would expect against the Ducks. They're getting hit with a false start, though. I will take that. I will take that for sure. They're most likely just going to run in this situation, maybe get a yard or two. If they're going to come out in a heavier set, we can do the exact same as well. 3rd and 13. Okay, we're going to take Prince Cottenham, and we are just going to cover this right side of the field. I feel like we should be able to take away a decent number of things. How are we giving that up? I don't know what else we can do there. I protected the sticks. I literally had us locked in for that stop. We must have had one of our defensive backs out of position, though. Pinch that defensive line. Don't think that you're going to run versus us. Don't think that you're going to run versus us. Let's go to the 4th. You know, I don't think the vibes are that high for Ducks fans at the moment. On 3rd and 9, don't try and scramble. Don't try and scramble. You have nobody. Look at that. We have held him to 3. You got the Oregon Duck bowing in the end zone. You're losing. Don't be too proud of how this is going. Ronnie Malik can't do damage. There is still a lot of time left in this game, but we just need to have A good drive here. And I thought we were about to explode through. It's only a few yards for Colt Simon. He is also starting to lose some speed and other stats due to wear and tear. It has put us on a very fast 3rd and 6. And this is not the time to be learning a playbook, to be learning what routes you have out there on the field. We're going to have to force it. We're going to have to force it. How did he drop it? I think we should have just taken the halfback angle route. But still, the fact that we came back to that, we had the right call and we dropped it is frustrating. We got to get better receivers into Hawaii with higher catching. Carter Cager was just a 2-star transfer. However, he has had a good career. He has developed well, and now we need to make this tackle. We need to make this tackle. What's the flag? What's the flag? This can't be on us. They're going to hit us with a face mask, of course. We had them on a 3rd and 10. We had them right where we wanted them. Now we need some big plays out of guys like Parker Graves. They just throw it to their running back. We make a good hit. Now I think we know what is coming on 2nd and 9. So we played hard flats and we pressed, but it's going to lead to a touchdown anyway. I literally knew what the play was. I think that's just something you got to use her. On the bright side, we might control our destiny here if we can just drive down the field. Score a touchdown with no time left. We're going to be looking for Pat Tap on this play. Or we'll find Carter Cager. He's going to make this catch, and he's also going to break off of a tackle. Okay, he's redeemed himself. We are not going to have our star Colt Simon at the end of this game, though. That is something that's really concerning. We need him the most right now, too, because we could upset #1 Oregon. We will find David DeMarco. It'll be 3rd and 2. I don't know if we can rush for the first down, though. I mean, Oregon is literally coming out with the defense ready to stop this. We are going to face this Stadium Pulse, just throwing everything off as well. I think we should have Pat Tap if I knew what button he was. We know what button that is. That can't be short. No. That cannot be short right there. Why did he fall backwards? He was definitely clear of the marker. I'm willing to challenge this. Okay. Even from that angle, you can tell. He caught it and then went backwards. He had the momentum. For whatever reason, though, they are not going to give this to us. If he would have just fallen down in a normal spot, it would have been cool. But we got sucked this way, and at the same time, no matter what, he brings the ball in. If the ball is right there at the 49, and we needed to be at the 48, this is a first down. This is a first down as clear as day. Am I missing something? Is this how we're going to lose to #1 Oregon? We could have pulled off this upset. I tried to take away the option to pitch the ball. What was the point of challenging, though, if they're just not going to actually review anything? We literally had it. Now we have just wasted a timeout. It's going to be 3rd down. No, it's a first. Congratulations. We are going to lose to Oregon. Maybe they can get like a glitchy snap here or something. That's not how this is going to go. It's not how it's going to go. Unfortunately, there is nothing left that can be done. They're going to take this knee. Hang on. Why on earth they're going for this here, I could not tell you. But at least get the snap off. At least get the snap off. They do. Okay, pick 6. Pick 6 for the win. They scored. For whatever reason, we lit up under our player. I thought we were going to have that ball. Instead, they're just doing what we did to Wyoming last week. Fair play. Fair play. For all the people that didn't actually watch this game, that's going to look a lot better for Oregon, and it's going to make us look worse. We had that competitively. Colt Simon, just over 100 rushing yards, though. I am worried that he's already getting injured. I am also very worried about what this spin could be because there's a lot of stuff on here I just want to avoid. We are going to get cheating with a teammate's girlfriend led to a fight. 2 of our defensive backs are suspended. Wonderful. Great, because Dwayne Mahoney didn't know how to keep it in his pants. Now we're not going to have him or James Paul, our 2 best corners, for our next game. You see how that wheel can negatively impact our team? Now, when we take a look at our starting corners, there's a little bit of a drop-off. At least recruiting is looking pretty promising. I'm surprised by the players from Hawaii that we were able to go after alone. I mean, there's 3 stars on here I want, especially Jason Hurley. It feels like we do have a good hard sell on him, and he's got 87 speed, 90 acceleration. Most of the guys that we've been signing in recent years have had like 84 speed. Then we can take a look at Jarius Lemon. It seems like Indiana's not really pursuing him that hard. We could also get Stan McGann. I don't know if we're going to continue pushing after Trayvon Lampman. I guess for now, though, we're just going to leave things as they are. Colt Simon, you will not be showing up to practice. You might not show up to practice the rest of this season to keep him healthy. I do not care if it's going to decrease his composure. Looks like there's about a 55% chance that we could be dealing with rain. We got that home winning streak also on the line. Let's not forget, it is now up to 17 games, and I love that our average home attendance is 50,000 people, even though our stadium clearly can only fit like the 13,000 it does. If it believes that we're getting 50,000 in our stadium, though, you would think our stadium atmosphere grade would be a little bit higher. Broderick Combs is the quarterback we're trying to stop today. I don't think we have faced off against Utah State before. Their starting running backs, though, both have 78 speed. Devontae Tutt is not an intimidating player. I can promise you right now, though, if their receiver Junior Chong balls out, we will be searching for him in the transfer portal. That is, at least if he even has another year of eligibility. I didn't check, but all the time we're seeing players that shouldn't continue to push for more and more eligibility. No rain to start the game. But before we get into that game, I'm hungry, and I just remembered I have some Factor upstairs, who's also today's video sponsor. Factor is over 100 meals, breakfasts, shakes, and snacks to choose from. And I've personally found a few favorites, but I can't have all of them for lunch, so I'm just gonna go with the Monterey Spinach Chicken. If you're a fan of convenience, easy to prepare meals, Factor is the thing for you. You don't have to be a world-class chef to put this all together. You simply just need to place the meal in the microwave for 2 minutes after poking some holes in it. And while we wait on the final results, I'm just going to plant the seed that if you go to factor75.com and use my code Bordeaux FFB, you'll get 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for a year. Again, if you like convenience, it's a great deal. My food has finally come out hot and ready for me to devour. And transparently, I've not eaten much today, so I can't see this lasting too long. Well, the camera's not focusing on it too well, but that is a pretty clean plate. It was good, but I already knew that it was going to be good because that's one of my favorites to get. But you probably don't have a favorite yet, so why not give it a shot? Go to factor75.com, use code Bordeaux FFB, and get 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for a year. And now that we're fueled up, let's get back to this video. I should have known the updating team builder was cooked too when I was trying to give us crowd patterns year after year, and they were never showing up. That's just another thing that I've thought about. I'm really hoping at some point in this series we will get to still move into our new stadium. You all don't understand. Those jerseys were so hard as well. I just need that patch to come through. All right, first carry, 3 yards. It's not anything too impressive, but I am curious what type of coverage they are going to be pulling out right here. And it's just a stinker. It's a stinker. I couldn't tell you if there was a worse ball. We had Colt Simon open off for it, but I decided to ignore him because I thought one of our receivers was going to beat the press. And then we just throw up that wobbly pass for no reason. It was a lazy play. We should have thrown it away. I couldn't even tell you why I did that, but it has got me sitting up again. And we're ready to lock in. There we go. Good tackle. We might be missing our starting 2 corners, but on the bright side, we still got some depth. At that position, I do feel like we were better suited to lose them than others. 3rd and 13 already, and they actually found the space in between our zones. If there is anything I should have learned throughout this series, it is not to mess around, because all of a sudden you'll notice you're just giving up huge gains. It is our first Pac-12 game as a program, and we're coming into it a little bit short on guys that we want to have out there. Let's not overlook that interception either. It was just inexcusable. Good tackle from Parker Graves. It is going to set up a 3rd and goal. Please do not be a run. We were not prepared for the run. All of that's taken away besides this. Okay, I can admit our pass defense actually looks really rough early on. We just need to have a comfortable drive down the field, though, wearing these alternate jerseys and make up for that really, really poor interception. Utah State has stopped Colt Simon decently well so far, but he's only gotten 2 carries. Once he gets a big one, that all goes to waste. It was only a matter of time before he did something like that. And of course, David DeMarco is going to be able to get open. From this spot, we are going to stay in hurry-up mode and continue to shred their defense just like they did to ours. In fact, I am feeling so confident we will bring it back. We have not run it very many times in recent years, but the halfback screen works. That was something that we vowed to not do in earlier seasons. I feel like now, though, we have the team where it should have a little bit more success, and with the patience here, we got Pat Tapp. I like what I'm seeing out of Brandon Gibbons now. We hand this one off. We're in with J.J. Bradley. We have made it past the mental lapse to start this game, and that's all that we needed. That's really all that we needed to be okay. Look at that tackle. Parker Graves has no mercy. That kid probably doesn't have a family because he could be like 19, but he's still got family that care about him. Here on 3rd and 1, we're able to play this with Rob Jorgensen. We're going to leave it at that, though. I'm not going to take too much credit for it because what I just did was a complete accident. I did not mean to be clicked onto him in the first place. Let's return this to the left side of the field. Why is he our returner again? Before loading into this game, I literally took him off of punt return duty once again. it's just going to make him more tired. It also might hinder what his potential is on a play like this. If they run man-to-man coverage, he should be getting open. Though, I think we're going to have to throw this away. I think we're going to have to throw it away. For us to really have success with this Cal playbook, I think I need to dig into it a little bit more than I have been. Pat tap with the catch. I just feel like the coach suggestions were leaving me astray, and I love to run coach suggestions. Look at Ronnie Malik. He dusted the guy that was manned up to him. He splits the safeties. What a play. I mean, that alone was just beautiful. Sitting in cover 2-man because we can against Utah State. There's a flag on the play, which is so annoying because we get the sack. We gave him the smallest little shoulder bump of all time. You basically can't put a hand on it. We are going to continue to give Utah State all sorts of man-to-man looks, though. Sometimes it will be cover 1 like it was right here. Then if I'm feeling some cover 3 hard flats, we'll mix that in too. Looks like they are going to have the first down. It is back to cover 2-man, though. And do you know how disrespectful it is? Without 2 of our starting corners to be running man still, I just believe that we have one of the best rosters in the Pac-12. That's not good. We might need to make a couple changes. Another run. No, this time they hit us with the RPO. All over him. You just got to bring guys down in the box. They are going to literally do it again. Jatavius Wiley, though, was not going to give that up. And the drag's there. That's there. Good hit. Good hit. Jatavius Wiley can single-handedly now take credit for us holding them to just a field goal. What can Ronnie Malik do, though? Can he please get a return? Can he please get a return? He is just doing what he does best. We have been waiting for it, and nobody's even in the same vicinity. That just feels so good to see. We are working to end this first half strong. Outside run. Look at the tackle. Once again, it is Jatavius Wiley that is all over it. Take note at who is making a lot of the plays for our defense. Go ahead. Try and test us. Try and test us. Either Quinn Williams was getting that interception or Rob Jorgensen was getting the sack. It was the smart decision to hang on to the football. Back-to-back returns. I'm calling it right now. I'm calling it before we even step on the gas. Okay, we didn't hold our block on it. I am feeling okay about the position we find ourselves in this game, though. That's the first time this run's gotten us a positive gain. Here on 2nd and 8, they're actually all over Pat Tab. They didn't look like they had the numbers to play that, though, so that did catch me a little bit by surprise. Look at that tight defense, and they knocked the ball out. Good defense from Utah State there. I mean, that's really all that I can say. Is he going to be able to catch this? He is. Good tackle. Now we come out pressing, and we see if they are able to do anything. Thankfully, he has 78 speed. That has honestly been one of the nicest things about playing against Utah State, because they could have had some really big plays if he was better. Have they had a good offensive drive, though, when we haven't just set them up for success? And the answer to that is not really. Don't get me wrong. They could be cooking something here, but at the same time, Prince Cottenham could be going for a huge interception. We were almost there. Utah State managing the end of this first half decently well. And they tested him. They tested him. It worked out. I mean, that's what you do. There's no reason not to when you know that we're working with some lower cornerbacks. And Parker Graves with the awful user. I mean, we should have taken that away. Parker Graves is trying to get taken off of the field right now. I don't know what he was doing there. 16 seconds left. Tight end's not open. Not open. Not open. Not open. There we go. Parker Graves immediately makes up for the last play here at the end of the half. They're not going to get to the end zone. They're also not going to have any timeouts left, so that is going to do it. I didn't realize they had no timeouts left. What on earth were they thinking? You have to just take your 3 at that spot, or you have to throw it away. Well, they have the ball, and Matthew Sherrills just took the wrong angle. So for us to feel a little bit more comfortable, we need to have a defensive stop to open up the second half. I'm starting to feel like the best player to take over, though, might be one of these outside zones. We can take that away. We can take that away. We're just with it. We're just with it. We are just with it. Jatavius Wiley. What have I been saying about him? He is the best linebacker I've seen. That's not to discredit some of the other players that we've had either. He's just made a lot of really good plays, and there's another one. There's another one. Matthew Sherrills. He tried to transfer away on us 2 years ago. We ended up getting him back, but I do think this is going to be against us. I cannot stand those late hits. What were you thinking? You just ruined us sealing this game in back-to-back plays. It's unbelievable. In response, though, DeMarco Sisk did just get a sack. So he is trying to leave his impact. It's going to be 3rd down. Junior Chong did not have the strength to truck through us there. and we have way too many guys over there for them to get the first. You know, the pick six would have been sweet, but at the same time, we are still in a great position to seal it. Just need a solid drive down the field here, and I think it's coming. We might need to look at some of these single back formations, though, not just coming out in shotgun, see if there's any good runs. I know it's easier to pass from this look, but I want some huge rushing gains, and that's good defense. There's no other way to put it. And this punt isn't going to pin them back that far. The drag I wanted to throw that ball to was completely covered. If that ball got out in the first place, we would have been in trouble. Parker Graves with no hands there, though. We had the interception, and he dropped it. How hard is it going to be for us to just end this game? That's placed over his head. Really? Under pressure and all, he makes that throw. I mean, I just got to hand credit where it's due. Fast pass. Truck stick. We are still swarming to everywhere the Aggies try to get on the field against us. Parker Graves even made it out there. He's whiffing that tackle, though. We are run committing middle. We know exactly where they want to be. And look at that. 4th and 3. You know, I find it very interesting that they're going for it here. They're not going to kick a field goal, and it is going to pay off for them. Wait, we held them up. I mean, most likely they'll just get in a play or two later. However, you have to think we are determined to stop this run. What was that angle? Utah State is not going away, even though we were in a position to put them away multiple times. All of a sudden, it is 3rd and 17. We need a huge gain, and that might be a pick. That might be a pick. There is just no zip on that ball at all. That was my issue with Brandon Gibbons in the past, but I really wanted to forget it. That interception was 100% on him, though. With more throw power, that's an easy 20. On 3rd and 2, I just don't feel confident in our defense at the moment. I don't feel confident even Wiley was in the right position. Yet they still made the catch. They're going to make this field goal, and it is a one-possession game. We have to consider we haven't gone with a speed option yet where we can really get Colt Simon out into space. That's exactly what they knew we were going to do. Maybe the stretch can do some wonders here. We bring in everybody a little bit tighter, bust it to the outside, and there it is. Okay. Okay, just get us to field goal range. We make it there, and automatically I am feeling so much more comfortable. Another look that goes nowhere. This is where we could pull out the dagger, though. It's a little bit risky, but I kind of want to see how Utah State responds to it. And we don't have the arm strength to throw this up. Why on earth would we throw that to Carter Cager? We had the crosser. This game's a disaster. I'll tell you right now, there is a quarterback that is warming his hands up on this bench because we are going to be switching to him. I don't know how long we're going to use him this season, but he will be out there next drive. Remember the name Trey Sheffield, who we benched for Brandon Gibbons? Well, guess what? Trey Sheffield is coming back, and he's not as accurate as Brandon Gibbons, but he's got a stronger arm. He's a little bit faster, and I think his decision-making could be a little bit better. Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. Not this guy. Not this guy. Just bring him down. Junior Chong, who is a junior, by the way. That means we can target him in the transfer portal if he transfers. Just had a chance to destroy us. We are going to sniff out this next run, though, and they still get the first. Well, slant is not there early on, but unfortunately, we just got no pressure from our defensive line. Rob Jorgensen, Jamarco Sisk, they are nowhere to be seen, and when you get that much time, you're bound to make some plays. We just need to keep them out. You can tell that we're tired. You can tell that right now they have that advantage on us, but this is the throw. Okay. You know what? I think it is time that we send in a little bit of a blitz. They're probably going to run this football anyway. Now it is 4th and 3. We have a QB spy out there in case they try to scramble, and we're going to get a hand to that ball. Okay, Trey Sheffield doesn't have to do too much here. All he has to do is hand off the rock, and that'll give us 7 or 8 yards. I'm genuinely considering just letting him start the next game. I am that upset with Brandon Gibbons. It is important to note that this game's not completely over. If we just run this ball and we don't get the first down, Utah State is still going to be left with about 10 seconds left, and we aren't going to give up the return. I can't believe it looked like it was going to be 35-10. We have that penalty, and all of a sudden they are in this game at the very end of it. That can't be the throw, though. That just can't be the throw. I have to say, this was a very odd game. That ball is not reaching the end zone, though. So we're good. We are going to seal the win over Utah State. It's just remarkable that it was this close. It'll be known as the day that Brandon Gibbons lost the starting job after being so loved by Hawaii for all he's done for them. I just feel like before he took over the last season and a half now, we used to throw the ball so much more. We do have one other option, too, that I don't want to overlook. It is freshman Tyler Carrizosa. He has good accuracies besides throw under pressure. He has 90 throw power. He is just as fast as the other two. It's just a hard decision to make. If you look at 2028, Trey Sheffield put up 4,000 passing yards, 38 touchdowns, 9 picks. Then you have Brandon Gibbons, who came in from Minnesota, and he threw for 1,500 less yards. He had more interceptions. His completion percentage was 6% lower. I think we just have to rock with Trey Sheffield, and we're also going to go back to the run and shoot. I do think Hawaii's normal playbook is when our offense looked the best. I have also decided we are not going to experiment with another quarterback that has such a weak arm. I'm not willing to pay him $175 in NIL, so we're going to take away our offer. It'll most likely make him not want to come to our school. However, if we put those funds into Jarius Lemon, who has 92 throw power and is even more accurate, I think it is better use of them, especially since we are slowly catching up to Indiana. It also only took us a few weeks for Jason Hurley to hard commit to our school. That is one big Hawaiian safety signing down. Soon, D'Angelo Bakatari will make that same choice. As you can see, yeah, we have fallen down to 10th place. I am happy with our decision, though, and it looks like Indiana has actually pulled back on Jarius Lemon. We might be offering too much money to Stan McGann. The problem is we set the standard where we did, so now we're almost stuck paying this much. He does have the speed. The same issue we might run into with Trayvon Lampman. I don't want to pay this much for a receiver, so we need to start taking our focus over to some of these guys. What we cannot be doing is acting like we have unlimited money at Hawaii. It's another conference matchup for us against Texas State. They're scoring 13 points per game. It feels like a great time for us to try and get Trey Sheffield back out there. Then San Diego State is 3-0. That could be a little bit scary. Boise State's coming up soon. Rivals Fresno State's coming up soon. Notre Dame is where we end the season. With the way our schedule's set up, though, we will know if we're going to make it to the Pac-12 championship or not very early on in the season compared to all these other schools. Considering Texas State hasn't won a game so far, and outside of Alex Coronado, their team looks horrendous. This should be another win for us, but you saw that Utah State was able to push us to our limits, and we have another wheel spin that we get to use before we get into this game. It is always going to be nice to spin the winning one to see what benefit that we are going to get. Coconut water sponsorship for an entire offensive line +2 strength for all of them. Me personally, I don't like coconut water. I think it tastes horrendous, but this is such a big deal for us because for all of our starting offensive linemen to get +2 strength, I mean, that just is a major difference maker. It is normally such an expensive upgrade for these players, which is why we don't typically do it. Because if you upgrade power, you're going to be spending so much. But this coconut water sponsorship was huge. We already run the ball a lot. And now that we're back inside the top 25, we really don't want to drop a game because we need to stay here. Now, I can tell I have a little bit of a sore throat coming. So I just took some NyQuil, which is okay unless this game goes on for a while and I'm about to fall asleep at the end of it. We really need to come out strong or else this could turn really bad. Texas State does not seem to be attracting too many fans either. Most of this stadium is empty besides the lower bowl on the left. Why would they show up though? They have this one player and nobody else. Okay, here on 1st and 10, they're actually going to the air. They're not starting the game with a run. We are going to get the sack with Rob Jorgensen. I'm really enjoying the users that we have on this defense, too. We did pass commit. Didn't really help us. I'm hoping that we can still get them off of the field on 3rd and 5. And I saw him open. DeMarco Sisk is working fast, though. We will take that. Now, we have another return with him. I don't understand why he continues to be in at returner. I keep on subbing him out, but it did work here. You know, maybe Colt Simon is meant to just get one return a game, and that is it. Let's hope it does not hinder how big of a run this could be for us, because he's getting straight into a pitch that he loses 5 on. -5 rushing yards to start the day. I'm sure he can bounce back from it, but as you can see, he is not out there for this 2nd down carry. This could very well be a 3-and-out, depending on what Trey Sheffield is able to do, and we're not going to take any risks. We're just going to settle for our field goal. We're going to trust our defense. I think it'll work out for us, and that bubble was a nice call. I will say one thing I don't like about Texas State is they are running this hurry-up style offense where I can just tell it might give us issues. We are going to be ready to send some heat, though, and our pursuit just wasn't good enough. When they run against this formation, though, I mean, that's what should happen. It is a miracle that we were able to make that tackle, or even this one. Here on 3rd and 8, we are going to sit and cover 2-man, and you know who my user is going to be. Watching the running back very closely. Looks like he is going to get this ball, and we should have knocked it out. I can't glaze Jatavius Wiley if he isn't making that play, unfortunately, even though we have been all season. Texas State's kind of cooking a little bit here too, and it's got me a little bit concerned because I know that NyQuil is starting to kick in. The thought of just laying down right now feels so good. We are only in the first quarter too. Now on 3rd and 2, it should be another run. It should be another run, but we stop it. That is a major win. We'll take holding them to 3. What I want to see now is a Ronnie Malik kick return. It's not coming here, but I wanted to see it. I feel like he ended up finishing last season with 5 of them, which is just an absurd number. Now, if we can get that block, we are going to have a touchdown. Is this Malachi Livings? I don't think he ever gets out there on the field, but what a first look for him. A 76-yard touchdown is a crazy way to make yourself known. He is just a sophomore. We have also been stopping runs out of dime, which is another thing I didn't think was really going to translate. Here we go. It's now 3rd and 7. They throw out a flag. It's a free play, and I think we jumped. We did, so either way, it was going to be a redo. We got to get some guys with higher IQ on our defensive line, though, because that happens a few times a year. It might be a normal thing to happen a few times a season, but it doesn't mean it is any less frustrating. What a tackle. I think that really sets the tone heading into the second quarter. We have our QB spy out there. We are going to run cover 2 man, and they are still getting open. They are still getting open. I wish James Paul was able to put his hands up there. We just didn't take the right angle. That was a nice little play from Texas State. That's all there is to it. And we haven't given up an explosive play like that in a little bit. Here on 2nd and 3, we are waiting to see how they guard it. Did Trey Sheffield just throw that where I think he did? Now, it's one thing to already be locked down by one player, but this guy, even though it looked like he might have been playing the run, also sat in on the pass. I'm afraid the Trey Sheffield experiment might not be going planned, but he was set up for failure with me using him anyway. I feel like these interceptions tonight might be worse than normal. I mean, there's been at least 2 that should just never, ever happen. 3rd and goal, run commit, run commit. All of us missed him. We are actually in a little bit of trouble versus Texas State, and when that panic decides to set in, we decide to throw it. Now, if we could just get some time back there in the pocket, I've noticed that they've decided to press, and Carter Cager is a fast receiver, so he's going to be gone for a touchdown. It doesn't make how this game is going any better for us, though. That's a rough missed tackle from Dwayne Mahoney. We are back to sitting up. We are back to being locked in. Running back is open. Matthew Sherrills can get there at the last second, though. Look at that sack. There it is, that defense that can just lock down. They are going to have a run, but it's not going to do too much for them. I mean, surely we can trust our defense to get a team off of the field on 3rd and 13, right? Right? They are still going for the lead. I would expect that their kicker can probably drill from this distance. If they are sending him out there, it's good. We have ourselves a tough little battle, but Colt Simon still hasn't had his explosive play. I feel like once he gets going on the ground, there's not going to be much that Texas State can do. However, when is that going to be? I only have so much patience. Looks like we are going to run a speed option to this side of the field. And he almost got out of there. You know, where I really thrived with this team, though, in the past, was running 5 wide. Trey Sheffield sees the space. This is when we were really able to start picking apart defenses, especially if they thought that they could run man-to-man coverage. Okay, he's benched. He's already benched. Anything I said about him, forget it. Anything bad I said about Brandon Gibbons, it never happened. We are paying Brandon Gibbons a lot of money. He had a very poor game. But everybody has poor games. It is what it is. I don't know how I did not see that guy. I did not see the ball until it literally ended up in his hands. They're going to have a check down. They're going to have a check down. We're there. You know, in this situation, you have to bring the heat. You have to bring the heat, and you have to get a sack and a fumble and a fumble. Come on. You know, it would have been really nice if we could have had one of our guys that were already on their feet to recover that. It's still cool to be in this spot. What are we seeing out of this offense at the moment, though? Okay, there is Colt Simon. Hello. Maybe we really have lost the plot and we bring out another halfback screen. They were close to intercepting that. Are we going to get man-to-man coverage, though? If we could see some man-to-man coverage here, that would be extremely nice. We're going to have him if he can come back to the ball and catch it. Ronnie Malik. Ronnie Malik's the greatest. I've never seen anything like that before. I mean, he just went up and he snagged it. What if he can open up the second half with another? You can't be upset with that look. If we had a little bit more throw power, maybe he does actually run under it. no breakaway run. It's interesting. I thought that with his stats, Colt Simon was going to be our best running back in school history. Winston Malone's title seems to be safe for now, though. Go ahead. Place it in the back of the end zone. Place it in the back. Brandon Gibbons actually made such a good throw there, and we just weren't able to catch it, so that's a little bit frustrating. However, you can tell that Texas State is starting to run out of gas a little bit as they give up more and more plays. There it is. I'm really glad that one of our athletic director expectations this season is not tied to interceptions, because we have had plenty of those so far. QB run. It's going to be 3rd and 10. I just can't imagine this going that well for them. Jatavius Wiley already has 8 tackles in this game, by the way, and we were going to take away that hitch with him. With that stop, I've noticed we now have Heisman Shifty on Simon. For whatever reason, he's feeling a little bit slow right there, though. Now we go to the air. We're going to let him put in some work. Nothing. I've missed this play right here, though, and it gets us a few. Brandon Gibbons is going to have to make a read, and the right one is David DeMarco. Not a great season from him, especially if that's a real fumble. We had an injury on that play, too. We have challenged it. There's just no way that ball popped out with his knee not already on the ground. I mean, you can tell from that last angle, his knee was down. You know what, too? I'm frustrated. Let's just go and throw it up to him. He didn't get as open as Carter did, but who cares? He's still getting open. Don't think you're going to press David DeMarco with your sorry 70 overall corners and not be punished for it. It is now 2nd and 12. We're watching all these inside routes, and you have nowhere to go. Rob Jorgensen should be getting the sack. On 3rd and 12, they have 4 verticals out there. Go for the check down. Go for the check down and see what happens. What a tackle. I feel like we've learned a lot from this game. The main thing being Brandon Gibbons deserved to be the starter for all of the reasons that we thought. Another kick return, another kick return. No. Anyway, Brandon Gibbons could throw 10 interceptions in a game this season. He will not lose his starting job again before he graduates. He's an 84 overall. It was disrespectful on my part to even bench him after everything he has done for this school. The offense just seems to be moving it a little bit better with him out there. I don't know what it is, but his effect has caused us to pull away. Here on a 4th and 10 for Texas State, they are going to have nothing. It is plays like that that have made this 4th quarter so easy on us. We are trying to cross 50 points as well. So, 2nd down, looks like it's going to be our backup, Tyreek. What if we were to go 5 wide, though? This was my favorite look to give to teams down inside the red zone, and we have David DeMarco. You know, I had some concerns headed into this game, but we are going to win another Pac-12 one comfortably, too. Colt Simon showed out. He had 171 rushing yards. We also learned do not go away from Brandon Gibbons. Nice to see him back on the stat sheet without a bunch of turnovers. Good receiving game for multiple guys. With that win, we get another wheel spin, too, and this is going to reward us with starting receiver gains +2 speed from training in the sand. You know, of all the guys that we could choose from, Luis DeMarco doesn't even see the field, but I do think it would most likely be best for us to just give this to Ronnie Malik. With how much we use him everywhere, I feel like this is deserved. He's been working hard. He's been running in the sand. It is going to pass up his skill cap, which originally would limit his quickness. This is almost like a little bit of a reward for him winning the Jet Award. It is also time that I make the tough decision in removing some of the guys that we've spent so many hours on, just because I think we're going to get Jarius Lemon, and I don't want to waste our NIL on players that we're not going to really want. There is a world where we're able to sign these 2 receivers who both have 98 speed still, and for half of the price. We just offered those other guys too much money. Those extra hours are also going to give us an opportunity to scout some other players. 96 acceleration, 92 speed, and the shifty ability on Rico Camarda. I've already decided I want him too. San Diego State lost headed into this game, so they're coming into this one 3-1. We have both a spot in the top 25 to protect and our home winning streak. Looking at their roster, just a quick little overview. Josh Vaquez is their best quarterback. They also have a little bit more speed on their running back than other teams, but my most feared player is Sam Kukwa if he is playing in the slot. You never know when that type of speed could turn into a real problem, but we're an 84 overall, they're a 64 overall. This should still be a win for us. Even though we lost that game to Oregon, everything else has gone really well with how the season has started. Game after game, we are going to be tested though, and JJ Bradley misses the tackle. That was a hit stick too. So you all that tell me to hit stick to not make diving tackles, well, that's what that was. Granted, he is a running back, so I guess he shouldn't be tackling too well. Oh well, all we have to do is just come out and get them off of the field quickly. Here on 3rd and 5, the hitch is not there, but they are going to scramble, and we sent our spy. Sure enough, it is Jatavius Wiley that is making the tackle, and don't tell me this is who I think it is. Okay, it's Ronnie Malik. He's actually returning the first punt in this game. He's going to cut it to the right side of the field, and there's just so many guys chasing him down. How do you turn this into a touchdown? He's got a little bit more speed now, so that was a really huge win for us on the upgrade wheel. I think that's like one of the best ones that is on there as well, so you get lucky every so often. What we have kind of figured out, though, is if they're pressing some of our best receivers, we're going to be able to make some plays. We just hadn't seen that look as much in the first couple games. On 2nd and 8, we are just going to go with the outside run, and it looks like we're going to lose 4. We are going to need Brandon Gibbons to help us clutch up on 3rd down. And can he make this pass? He can. He can. He puts it on the dime for Malachi Livings. This guy's breaking out. They're reviewing whether or not this was a touchdown snag, but really it's just giving us an opportunity to appreciate what he's done. Back we go on defense, though. Parker Graves gets out there, makes the tackle. Now we look at some man-to-man coverage, and we're all over that ball. There's a penalty on San Diego State as well. Their helmets, they are beautiful. I am going to accept it, by the way, just because it'll make it a 2nd and 15. I highly doubt they're going to pick up a lot here. In fact, they're just going to lose 4 more. 3rd and 19. It's a tough one to convert on. How do they do this? I swear our zone coverage on some of these guys has gotten better. Parker Graves should be making a play on that ball. I'm actually really disappointed that nobody was able to do so, and they were able to convert. Now, we got a sack loading, one of the first ones for the year for Mick Rust, but we are just going to sit back on 3rd and 14. That'll do. This is the exact type of start you want to see out of your defense. 1st and 10. It's going to be a 3-yard run. Nothing too impressive there for Colt Simon, but he'll continue to get more. I am sure throughout this game he will have all sorts of success. Just need that breakaway run. You got to think it's coming at some point as he's able to just elude his way around defenders. We have already made it to the 2nd quarter, and that did nothing. This is where I think San Diego State could be in a little bit of trouble, though, just based off of the coverage that they're coming out in. David DeMarco has done it. He has beat the press, and he is in the end zone. This is what I'm saying about their corners not being good enough to press us, and they still decide to go with it anyway. We got 2 of our guys stuck on each other. One of our guys completely faked out running towards the running back. That was just solid play design from the Aztecs. Not too much that we can do about it, but we knew exactly where that ball was going, and we took a horrible angle. That is on Matthew Sherrills, the experienced senior. We just watched our defense completely fall apart and run that route. Run that route. San Diego State might have a little bit of life in them, which is scary. Hang on. Hit that next level. Hit the next level. What is weird is I'm not seeing the type of acceleration out of Colt Simon that we had with Winston Malone, and I'm failing to understand why. On 2nd and 13, I think we are going to have Colt Simon. It is thrown a little bit behind him. It is going to work out, though. Ronnie Malik coming across the formation. Jet touch pass for him. Can he hit another level of speed? The stiff arm to the 5. You can tell they are starting to feel that pressure, and if they decide to send a blitz here, Malachi Livings will catch another. I'm not sure if man-to-man coverage is for us, though, just based off of that last drive and even our run defense here. There are some teams that it works flawlessly against, and then there are others where it doesn't, or we just miss tackles. Here on 1st and 10, Parker Graves takes away the slant, and they just tested Prince Cottenham. They are not afraid to do so. They just got a lot of momentum. Their offense is trying so hard to keep them in this game. We missed the tackle. It is always Jatavius Wiley, though. Somehow he was in position to help make that play, and good defense. All right, 4th and 3. It's a run, and we are going to stop him. We're stopping him. It is Jatavius Wiley with another clutch tackle. Minute 38 left on the clock, and what a horrible decision. What a horrible decision. You see, you can get away with pressing our receivers some of the time. I thought that David DeMarco was able to get open there. Turns out he wasn't. It'll be interesting to see if they're in man or zone on 3rd and 6, though. Ronnie Malik is so gone. Ronnie Malik is so gone. I really hope he can get the shifty ability. I don't think he can. We will be trying to find him on this play, though, with his crossing route. Looks like he is open. We needed half a second longer. 3rd and 10. He immediately beats the corner that is manned up to him off of the line. We are set to score before the end of this first half. And I guess Brandon Gibbons is running for 7. Here on 2nd and 3. I mean, one of those two guys is getting open. It is David DeMarco getting in. We're just trying to finish this out against San Diego State from here. We have to start this third quarter strong. When you're already up by 21 and you get the ball first, it just puts them in a horrendous spot, especially since they cannot seem to stop our passing attack or rushing attack. It is a great spot to be in, and rushing to the outside, we're now at the 2. J.J. Bradley thought that he was going to get that touchdown, but Colt is back in. He's short. He should be able to finish it off here, though. And he didn't? I'm a little bit confused. I guess we'll just go for the QB sneak and get on over. We then have to worry about preventing San Diego State from scoring a touchdown, and they're going to try and scramble. Not against Jatavius Wiley. He is not letting you get in there. We have a QB spy on 4th and 5. Tampa 2, we're going to sit back in it, and they throw it at Peacock. That's terrible defense. If we're just being real, though, there's not enough time for them to come back, especially with us recovering the onside kick. David DeMarco trying to return it. From here, we will just work to run out the rest of the clock, and J.J. Bradley is going to get his moment. That was pretty cool to see. 42-14 is the final score. Brandon Gibbons wins player of the game, so he is our starter. He is proving that I made the mistake. I think one of the biggest takeaways we should have from this game is just let David DeMarco and Carter Cager beat the press. They are clearly doing a good job with that, and the wheel spin is now going to take us to our starting linebacker's grandmother attends the game plus 10 tackle for 1 game. It's unfortunately not a permanent boost, but if you thought I wasn't already glazing Jatavius Wiley, just imagine when he has 96 tackle. He should be having such a good week against Colorado State. They are just a 1-2 team. There's a 45% chance of precipitation. Emmett Matthews is their quarterback. He has only thrown for 4 passing touchdowns all season. How you know they're a conference team too is if they have state in their name, they're most likely in the Pac-12. Basically, every team that joins the Pac-12 has state in their name. Cedric Ross, though, their running back, 90 speed, 85 overall. This might be one of the better teams we've played all season. I'm going to be honest, I was kind of doubting the Rams, but after seeing their roster, it does solidify. The Pac-12 is a step up from the Mountain West. Looking at their mascot and just the vibes out here, this would be a cool place for me to do just a one-off rebuild. It also had me thinking back to those late-night games with Colorado State whenever Deion Sanders first arrived at Colorado. Those scenes were electric. When Shiloh Sanders took back that pick 6, I mean, it was peak football. I want those vibes back. I want college football back. I miss it so much right now. That first run didn't work out too well for us. 2nd down. We're getting a few more. A little bit of a concern, though. Brandon Gibbons not able to make his hot route on his first adjustment. Looks like Malachi Livings will now be on a slant, and we're trying to run. We're trying to run. Get out of our way. Get out of our way. How has Brandon Gibbons done this? I didn't know he had that in him. Looks like we are going to try and find Ronnie Malik. It almost did not work, though. 2nd and 10. Oh, you can't have that type of coverage on him. That is a perfectly placed ball, and Ronnie Malik is going to make up for the drop on the last play. I feel for the Rams already because we're bringing the pressure. We are going to make this one challenging for them, and we are slowing him down. We do not need Cedric Ross getting much momentum in this game. Looks like they are going to take a hit. Easy 3-and-out for Hawaii to force. And now we go for the return. Now we go for that 14-0 lead. Ronnie Malik making a huge difference early on in this game. They slowed him down, though, before he was able to really get to that next level. Here on 2nd and 9, they're sitting in zone coverage, and we're going to have David DeMarco. He is going to fall short. We still have to convert here, but this just can't be their coverage. If this is their coverage, well, we're going to bust it. We are going to bust it. David DeMarco is gone. I could not tell you why you thought you could press one of our fastest players. I will say one of our punishments if we lose a game on the punishment wheel is our fastest player loses some of his speed due to a shock injury, so that's a little bit scary. We have to avoid landing on it. We have to keep on winning, of course, to increase our odds of that, and let's get a hit. They were throwing a flag out as the play was going on, too. You could see the ref doing it. It's holding. That is just making this even harder on Colorado State. They have no momentum in this game, and I don't know how they're going to start picking some up. We are basically sitting back and saying, see if you're able to beat our zone coverage. You can't. Junior DeMarco Sisk with the sack. He has waited a couple of seasons on our roster to actually get some playing time like he has right now. And let's bring this to the right side of the field, then cut it back to the left. Then cut it back to the left because Ronnie Malik is going to do it again. he could be going for back-to-back Jet Awards. He's just such a good returner. I can't believe how fast this game could be over. I know it's early on, but it's already 21-0. You're not passing. Here we go, 3rd and 12, sitting back in a cover 3. We're going to make them beat us sitting in coverage, and that's just not going to happen. Prince Cottenham all over it. The senior gets the pick. It could be 28-0 before the end of the first quarter. You just got to feel for Colorado State. They shouldn't even come out to play. Whenever you get down by this much this early, it makes it almost impossible to pull off the upset. We aren't going to get the first, though. It's not going to stop me from going for it on 4th and 2. We have run the ball every single play of this possession, and it barely worked for us. You would think eventually we'd get a solid run on the ground, but we are going to the air on 3rd and 5. David DeMarco brings it in. He is in the end zone. This game has just been ridiculous for us. I think we're going to have another touchdown to end the first half. It was Louis DeMarco that had that one, and we might as well put our backups in if we start the 3rd quarter with another touchdown too. It does feel like sometimes you just got to go to the air. Ronnie Malik is short. However, I have not lost my faith. They are going to continue to sit in man-to-man coverage, and he will get open this time. With our backups in, you might think that Colorado State would score, but that's just not the case. That is the final play of the game. It is going to finish out 42-0. Just a dominant win. It's really nice that Brandon Gibbons is hitting his peak potential, that J.J. Bradley is also starting to get some looks. He had more rushing yards than Colt Simon, so what does that say about our rushing attack? We couldn't really run the ball against the Rams, but it's the best win that we've had. D'Angelo Bakatari has committed to our school, so there's the 4-star from Hawaii, the 3-star linebacker. We are actually starting to retain in-state talent. Indiana doesn't want Jarius Lemon, so I think that we'll be able to close this battle out a few weeks from now. We have a decent hard sell. For some of these 4-stars at the bottom of our board too, the 2 receivers that both have 98 speed, or running back Rico Carmarda, I think we're going to be able to sign all 3 of them if this result can just hold. The computer is known to enter battles later in the season, though, and steal away those prospects. Some of those prospects have some really strong pipelines, so we might have to throw out an offer for double the money. Boise State is actually scoring more points per game than we are while giving up less. This is the most important play in conference play to me, and we have played 4 Pac-12 games while everybody else has only played 1 or 0. Do you see how our schedule is a little bit odd now? Our only loss last season was to the Broncos, so this is shaping up to be a big rival. If there's a team in our conference that's going to contend with us, make it hard to win conference championships, it's the Broncos. They have Sinai Thomas. He's an 88 overall receiver, 86 overall Corey Daly at quarterback. Luckily for us, their running back room seems to be a little bit weaker than it typically is, but we have to worry about these 2 receivers. Another thing we have to worry about is protecting our now 19-game home winning streak. We could be increasing our brand exposure with a win here because it's listed as game of the week. Our only other appearance in one, we lost. This is literally one of those games where if we win it, we could set ourselves up with an extra 500 to 1,000 NIL at the end of the season. Right before we play, of course, it's time to find out what type of boost we are going to be working with for our last win. Starting defensive tackle 8 good Island Chicken plus 5 strength. That is a permanent boost for senior defensive tackle Mick Rust as well. I don't know if there's great Island Chicken out there in Hawaii, but that's what one of y'all wrote to put, so I gotta try it when I go out there. It'll be the San Jose State game that I make it out to Hawaii, but I'm planning on spending at least a few other days there. If I'm gonna make that journey all the way there, it's farther than traveling to Europe from where I'm at in Kentucky. I might as well plan a little bit of a longer stay. I want to enjoy my time. I also think there's going to be a lot of fun stuff in the works for that game against the Spartans, for that rivalry. Before I can say anything else about it, though, let's talk about that return right there. David DeMarco getting a full head of steam. I cannot wait to be standing in this stadium. We need to get the run established early on, though. We need a better block. For whatever reason, all of our guys are still coming out with cold composure, even the most experienced players. I'm not sure what controls that. It is going to get us on a 3rd and 8, though. David DeMarco is going to be the receiver that we look for on the slant, and that'll help us convert. It's easy. We have our game script for this first drive. We just got to go through the motions. Can't make this linebacker miss. Tyrone Chansey is going to be a problem to face off against, just lurking over the middle of the field. Once again, it is 3rd down, and they're going with man-to-man coverage. That is not going to be enough to stop Ronnie Malik. So far, we're putting together a really good drive against the Broncos. It's just when it comes to running the ball, not so much. Look at J.J. Bradley, though, coming in as a sub and getting us like 20. He is amazing for burst of acceleration whenever Colt Simon needs a little rest. Colt Simon is going to finish the drive with a touchdown. This is exactly what we want to see against Boise State. These two, though, I'm a little bit worried about that. 444 yards in last week's game. I think it just makes sense for us to come out more geared to stop the pass instead of the run. We'll see if it pays off for us. Going to the air first play. We have defense out there for this. That's fine. 2nd and 5. They are going to just take their slant. There's a connection between those two that is going to be a little bit of a pain. Don't let him get free. We have faced off against Boise State teams that have incredibly talented running backs. This is actually a blessing for us. They got the first off that. Just unbelievable luck for the Broncos, and they almost got us with the trick play. Marquise Peacock, though, our 3rd linebacker on this team, was able to wrap up there. Don't tell me that we're jumping before the play. Okay, it's on them. They move first. They're not doing themselves any favors. Matthew Sherrills lurks that whole back area. It forced them to dump it with a shorter read. Here we go, 3rd and 12. I mean, we can't be giving this up. We are going to run commit. We are going to pinch our line, and we are going to miss the tackle. So it is off to the races. James Paul catches him. We tried to get aggressive to stop Craig Sherrill, and at least we're able to do it here. 2nd and goal, though. We have nobody in the area. That is just a hard one for us to give up. And Brandon Gibbons is going to scramble for 6. I don't know if this will work against Boise State, but they decided to press. So I thought we might try and hit David DeMarco on that streak. It's a solid way for this first quarter to end. We have to keep them honest. They need to back their guys off. You're not going to be able to press us and have a higher chance at stopping the run. Not what we want to see. Here on 2nd and 2, we're going to run a bubble to the short side of the field with no intention of throwing the bubble. What I'm wondering, though, is are we going to be able to set the edge for Ronnie Malik? Because if we do, then we could see a touchdown here. We could see a touchdown here untouched. You saw how many points both our offenses average per game headed into this one. This is going to be an offensive shootout, no matter what way you slice it. The question is, who is going to mess up first? Who is going to make that first mistake? We got to get off of the defensive line here. Matthew Sherrills? How are you giving that up? Maybe we do need to leave him farther back. Every time we bring him down, he just doesn't seem to backtrack well enough. It's going to be a fast read to the outside. The problem is they are just picking up yard after yard. 2nd and 2. Make that tackle. Okay, this is a big moment for us. We are pass committing. I don't think that they're going to run it on 3rd and 5. And that was a huge mistake. However, he's short. Now we run commit. Now we stack the box. Now we see if we can stop him. And we do. That is such a major play for us. Okay, we got that first stop that we were talking about. Let's not get held to a 3-and-out here. Let's get a punishing drive. 2nd and 5. We have our slant coming across the field. David DeMarco drops it. That is exactly who I was leaning on there, and I'm afraid that they're going to send a little bit of a blitz on 3rd down. I don't like anything. I don't like anything. We should have just held it. I tried to force it in there to give us a chance at picking up the first down, and it's a dumb mistake. That's what good teams do, though. They force you to mess up. Matthew Sherrills misses the tackle, 14-all. You could argue that we're a little bit rattled right now, and you would be right. This is the same type of stuff that happened against the Ducks. It's the same type of stuff that happened against the Ducks. So Colt Simon is going to save the day. All right, let's get our defense back out there. This had me thinking back to that infamous game between Oklahoma and Boise State in the bowl game too. What was it? The Fiesta Bowl? I was like 5 years old at the time. So I do not remember watching it live. I probably did. Bengal, Not the Expert, Eric Rayweather, all of them found that so amusing too. Anyway, of course I knew about it. And we just watched the highlights back. I forgot how many just atrocious interceptions were in that game. It made me feel not so bad about myself. I just don't have any words for why we weren't able to get a hand up there. We gave them way too much time back there in the pocket. And now we're going with some man-to-man coverage. That's a bad throw. Honestly, man-to-man might just be what we need to go with. I struggle with it on 3rd down, though, because I believe we can stop them through the air with zone. We are now in a tough spot on 4th down, and they're short. Okay, just like that, we have gotten our 2nd red zone stop against Boise State, and we could end the first half with more. We also need to make sure we're not giving Boise State an opportunity to do anything before the end of this first half. Can we make that throw? Can we make that throw? What a catch from Colt Simon. And now he's going to get another run. Colt Simon gets another run. He busts off of the tackle. Colt Simon busting all over him. Colt Simon in the end zone. Have you ever seen a rushing performance like this? Actually, you have, because Winston Malone had a couple games last year that were even better. But by the end of this one, who knows? He might have 300 yards. You would think that Boise State would be in shambles, but unfortunately, they are going to use all of this final 29 seconds, and they moss us for the catch down the sideline. They're at the 30. We have to keep them out of the end zone. We have to keep them out of the end zone, and I'll be content. Let's see what they got next. Corey Daly is going to somehow find a receiver, and they are in. I will not be gaslit into somebody trying to tell me that college football 27 gameplay is bad. I don't care if it doesn't work that well online. For offline, I am having more fun on this one than any other game. The computer just keeps it competitive, and they make awesome plays themselves too. There's lots of breakaway stuff. I will get very upset and mad at a lot of other aspects of it. The gameplay is not one of those. We also were able to draw a flag there. That's going to put us at the 47-yard line. It's not ideal, but what we are going to attempt is a 3-second run. 1, 2. Okay, we have set ourselves up with a 62-yarder, and honestly, this is not moving that fast. If Rivero has the leg for it, it is going to be in. The senior kicker just proved that he is worth every penny we have paid him. That is why it is worth it to have a good kicker. It has started to rain here in the third quarter, by the way, so lots of slipping off tackles. I am just expecting there's going to be some wild stuff happening. We got them on a 3rd and 2. What we can do is we can play hard flats, but I am a little bit afraid of the pass not going our way. Okay, Matthew Sherrills. He was able to fill that gap, stopping the run, and we have forced Boise State to punt. This is the best way that we could have opened up this third quarter, and Ronnie Malik might have a little bit more to say about that too. Ronnie Malik might have a little bit more to say about the best way to open up the third quarter, because he just got his 3rd kick return of the season. What a stud. If you are Boise State, they are looking for a miracle here. And did James Paul just get dusted? He did. Okay, so a quick response from the Broncos. They're not going to be completely out of it off rip. However, we're still up by 17 points. Going to be a direct QB run, and he's short. The entire reason we are even up by this much is because we have been able to stop them on these 3rd and 4th and shorts. I would really love to be able to get them off of the field another time in this spot, but we can't. Boise State is going to give up a huge run to Colt Simon to start our next drive, though. This is his breakout game. This is the game. You have to remember, this is game of the week. We are on national television doing this to the Broncos. We are about to get that home winning streak up to 20. I just wish we could have the new stadium. I don't think you all understand. The vibe of it was so sick as I was building it out. We'd have a new home. I really hope that by the time we're getting into the next episode or two, construction can finish up on 3rd down. Don't give that up. Okay, we're going to try and hit him. We didn't hit him fast enough. I don't feel comfortable even with a 17-point lead against Boise State. So I'd love to get another stop here. It's just a bad angle from our defense. This is where it really is a blessing that Craig Sherrills is only 84 speed, because if he was like some of those other Boise State running backs with like 95 speed, you notice. It becomes such a challenge to get a defensive stop. Fill that hole, fill that hole. Here we go. Now 3rd and 2. We've left the running back open, but we got lucky. For how aggressive the Broncos have been in this game, I'm a little bit surprised that they're kicking here. I guess they have finally learned their lesson, though, that if they would have settled for a couple other field goals, that this would be a bit closer. As much as you might think that we have just been able to run away with it, I don't think that's the case. I'm worried until we can at least get a few first downs. There's just a lot of time for me to make some mistakes, and there was an RPO there. I could have thrown the slant, but I most likely would have thrown an interception if I did. Colt Simon, another first. We are starting to make a little bit of progress here. We'll see how Boise State adapts, and they got us. We were seconds away from turning that into like a 10-yard, 15-yard, 20-yard gain, but instead, Colt Simon's just going to have to do it here. Injury timeouts are not helping either. We are going to just throw this one straight over to Malik, except he slipped due to the rain, and we're short. We're short. Okay, we could go for a QB sneak here. I don't want to attempt a field goal from this far, especially in the rain. I guess we're stuck with this. And he's short. What did I say? This game is far from over. 2nd and 4. Parker Graves. Make him make a miss. Make him make a mistake. He's not throwing that, is he? Oh, well, they are going to have a flat open underneath. What is the flag on this play? Please tell me it's holding. Nope, it is against us. I don't even know what this could have been. I hate this call. They call this way too much. You can't put a hand on the quarterback in this game without them hitting you with the roughing the passer, though I guess that's kind of what happens in real life now too, so it's realistic. It's just a huge tax on your defense, because all of a sudden they are sitting in a spot where they're 20 yards away from the end zone. All right, here we go. 3rd and 2. That is an amazing tackle. You know what? We are going to stay in the same play. We're going to sneak up with Prince Cottenham, and he's going to get a hit on the quarterback, but they have a touchdown first. It's brutal, but we took our chance there, and now Ronnie Malik is going to get brought down at the 19. We have not choked this game yet. They have 3 timeouts. They have the 2-minute timeout, but we should still be able to get some really big plays. I swear Heisman Shifty might be the most busted ability ever in this game. Colt Simon has done it. His 4th breakaway touchdown in this game. I can't even tell you how many yards he probably has. I knew when we found him in the transfer portal, he was going to be a little bit of a menace, but this is more than I could have ever dreamed of. 2nd and 2, Boise State drops back, and they are going to throw it to Matthew Sherrills, at least I thought. They're going to use their first timeout. I think that's a bad decision. It will give them a second to regroup, though. Throw it at Prince. Throw it at Prince. How do we keep on missing the football? We need Boise State to use one of those other timeouts. Here we go. 2nd down. Nothing's there. Parker Graves. Come on. What is it going to take to just finish the Broncos? They are such a tough team, and nobody is on him. Well, the onside kick is going to be scooped up by Quinn Williams. They are able to get this football back, though. That is the one issue with where we're sitting. We have to rush for a first down against them. Boise State has not been able to stop the run all day, though, and now they do. Okay, here we go. 3rd and 7. We just hand this one off and get tackled. By trying to attempt this field goal, we could be taking a major risk, but we're just going to put our trust in the senior. If he were to miss this, though, they would be starting in a great spot on the field. The good thing, though, is since Raheem Rivero drilled it, there was nothing Boise State could do from there. We're going to drop 55 points. Colt Simon rushed for 359 yards. Then you have to think about what we did in the passing game. It really wasn't that much. Brandon Gibbons had that rough interception. I don't want to talk about it. All I want to talk about is Colt Simon. I have never been more excited to get over to the winning wheel. We've taken a lot of spots off of it already, and any ongoing suspension is revoked. That is the most pointless one ever. It doesn't help us in any way because we don't have any current suspensions. Colt Simon has set the Hawaii single-game rushing yards record, breaking Winston Malone's. I'm also very curious if this performance puts him in the Heisman race. It looks like his name is up there with a receiver from TCU and 2 different quarterbacks, Noah Grubbs, we will face when we play against Notre Dame. He already has 1,000 rushing yards this season. Looking ahead at the 5 games left on our schedule, we got rivals Fresno State. They always give us a thrilling matchup. Then we have Oregon State, Washington State, rivals UNLV, and then on the road at #1 Notre Dame. It's going to be tough, but I'm feeling very confident that we make it to the Pac-12 championship at least. We should also be able to win 75% of our conference games this season, so another 500 NIL coming over to Hawaii. It turns out, though, it's not too late for Indiana to enter the race again on Jarius Lemon, which means we have to schedule him for a visit. We're going to do it against UNLV. They're 4-1 so far this season. Pitch him on playing time. I really think he could come in and automatically be the starter for us, though you also never know who we would find in the transfer portal. With Fresno State being about a 70 overall, I'm not really sure what to expect. They've had some good running backs in the past, but we are just crushing them when it comes to these totals. The man that has been there for 4 years, though, continues to stay with the Bulldogs. Sky Priestley is sitting on this roster, 91 speed, 88 overall. They also have Jermaine Judge. I think we tried to get him in the transfer portal from Nevada, and he decided he'd rather go to Fresno State. That was somebody we really wanted on this team. Jeff Bakersville is a good enough quarterback to get these guys the football. If there was any game that I thought was really going to push us, it would be this one. I did decide I'm a little bit bored with our jerseys, so we have put on some green pants with these. Would be nice to have like the 20 updated ones that could have been on this team. I think there is ways to do Team Builder, though, on PC without going through EA. I'm sure the modders have a workaround for that. So once I have that sorted, we'll be good in the future. Looking at our last meeting, we just survived against Fresno State. They beat us the year before, I remember. It was not a fun loss. It's never fun to play against this team, but it is always a good rivalry. I feel like one thing we figured out against Boise State was the speed option can be good. We're just going to audible away from it on this play because it looked like they were set up to stop it. We got the bubble. Those are just not the words you want to say as you throw an interception, are they? Okay, so there's the worst start we've had to a game so far. They're taking a hit. We are coming off of the high that we just had against Boise State, and we better lock in. It is now 3rd and 5. They are going to have some man-to-man coverage out there. Turn around for that ball. Hang on to it. Just like that, we are good. And let's see if we can thread it up the seam for another game. I am liking this angry Brandon Gibbons. He has come out just slinging it after that pick. It's a touchdown. It is the exact type of response that we were looking for. Now it is on them to try and move the rock. Oh boy, get off that block. He got a nudge on James Paul and he's gone. This is what we deal with whenever we face off against a good running back. Fresno State has their dream start in this game. They've barely been on the field. They've scored 14. We really just have played poorly so far, but we're going to find Ronnie Malik. What I find interesting is their willingness to press after our last drive. I guess they knew that they were probably going to get pressure there on 2nd and 10. I mean, we are throwing that past his head. It's not a good throw, though. The Bulldogs could get us off of the field again. I mean, we're running straight by them. We'll find Malachi Livings. You know, that look really got me thinking. If Fresno State wants to go with man-to-man defense against 5 wide, there is no way they have the defensive backs to stop it. They might be sitting here in a position where they can stop our rushing attack a little bit better. But when it comes to us going 5 wide, we are going to thrive. Luis DeMarco gets in. It is time for us to get back on the defensive side of things. Just need to wrap up here. 2nd and 8. I am sure that Sky Priestley is going to be touching this football. If not, I mean, they have a hitch that's just been sitting there open. Is that not an indication of we need to blitz? It's Jermaine Judge that I am so worried about whenever we send these blitzes. Or if we don't get hands on him originally, he'll just score. It's a lot of risk. We have yet to see the reward for it. We're watching Jermaine Judge here, though, and there is the sack. We just need to make them feel us a little bit. Man-to-man coverage here. Parker Graves moving over for the tight end, and it's going to be play action. Got to get back. All right, there we go. 3rd and 23. I mean, if we were to give this up, I'd just be so salty. We are settling into this game, though. It just took us the entire first quarter to do so. Don't run away from this ball, Ronnie Malik. You could return this. You could have returned it. To be honest, it is laughable that they are still pressing here, though he could have picked that. I think my confidence in us beating the press is actually going out the window against Fresno State. We're not doing it as often as I would have liked, and that's not a good throw. They're literally betting on my confidence. They're betting on my cockiness in this team, and we make the dive and grab. It's all enough, though, especially with 2 high safeties, for me to feel much better about us returning to the run. I mean, it's just going to be the most open lane possible if we can get it. If they continue to run 2-man under with pressing, there is no reason that we aren't just going to be able to run the football against them. I shouldn't be trying to beat them over the top with 4 verticals. Sometimes you just got to think a little bit about what would actually work while playing football. All right, they're going to get about 15 here. If they should learn anything from what Sky Priestley has done so far, it is just feed him the rock. He is averaging like 30 yards per carry against us. On 2nd and 10, we are going to run some man-to-man coverage. Unfortunately, they're just going to throw us on the ground and get a touchdown out of it. So, did not work. We are getting ourselves into another shootout. Our defense is falling apart the more we get into the season. This is not the same defense that we started the year with. It just can't be. It doesn't feel like it. We got Colt Simon motioning himself out on 3rd and 4, turning around for the ball and bringing it in. Fresno State might be giving us 7 here, though. It all depends. It all depends if I make the right read. I fell for it. I fell for it once again. We had the look that we should have run the ball against, and now it's 3rd and 23. Their man-to-man coverage has been lethal in this game. We will hit them with 4 verticals here, though, and Ronnie Malik has it. Sometimes I wonder if we can just get the mismatch that we're looking for, and that's exactly what we have done here. Malachi Livings to about the 10. There we go, starting to shred through their defense. It just took us converting a huge 3rd down. I will be very interested to see how they respond against us. I am not shocked that Sky Priestley just had another big run, but Matthew Sherrills is going to get out there, and we are able to bring him down. Here we go. 2nd and 10. Are they going to do it again, or are they going to actually try and throw the football? They're throwing the football. It's a quick read. I don't even want to click on. Last time I clicked on, Xavier Owens just threw us on the ground, and that's such a hard spot to be in. Okay, we will press Fresno State for 1 play. We will try and make them feel our pressure, but for a second it looked like they were going to be gone there. They have a first. It just feels like whatever we do defensively against them is not going to work. It's really difficult to stop the Bulldogs. It's really difficult to stop the Bulldogs until we're able to snag an interception like this one. And Peacock just doesn't have the speed to return it all the way. I have been waiting for the junior to get an interception, though. He is going to set us up to be up 35-21. Fresno State better switch into some run defense if they want to stop Colt Simon. And that's what they did. Here on 2nd and goal, Brandon Gibbons is going to look around and just decide it's better to toss it and get rid of it. This guy's going to just take it all the way back. He's going to take it all the way back. We have nobody in the vicinity. Nobody in the vicinity. Okay. Okay. 28 all. You ask me, am I mad? Am I upset? Am I frustrated? I am. You might as well check all the above. They also start this second half with the football, putting us in an even worse position. It was such an avoidable spot to be in, too. There's no reason Brandon Gibbons ever needs to be looking to run, but I'm so used to having a scrambling QB. He is a senior. He can't be doing stuff like that. Him, not me. Let me redirect all the blame for what just went down, especially if we happen to lose this one. I swear, I just don't like keeping it tight against Fresno State because they do stuff like this. I don't even care about Jermaine Judge. It is Xavier Owens that is the receiver I am fearing the most right now. Let's see. What can we do with this man-to-man coverage? Okay, Jermaine Judge routed us up. But I think Xavier Owens might make for an incredible tight end. If he's available in the portal, I want to find him. I need to find this kid. Every single time we have tried to tackle him, he breaks the first tackle. It's like a guarantee at this point. We're going to have him on a 3rd down. Are we going to be able to bring in this heat, though? It's an RPO, and Xavier Owens does it again. What am I seeing? I just don't like the way that they play football, man. Unethical football. That's what I'm calling Fresno State football. They have to stop giving us that 2-man under look where they're just pressing our receivers and we could have the easiest games of all time. I guess it is technically a good thing because we should be able to score with ease, though we drop it. It's now 3rd and 9, and I'm trusting Malachi Livings to get open here, which he does. We find him. He can also get around that defender, Malachi Livings, inside the red zone. They better not think that they are about to run man-to-man coverage again versus us. But sure enough, they do. They really do. We are just tearing this defense apart at the moment. Though, Brandon Gibbons, him scrambling, this is one of the scariest things that could happen. Last time he did, he just turned the ball over for fun. So, we have set our star running back up. He's just not a power back. Would it be delusional to just do the same thing 2 times in a row? Probably. All of a sudden, it's 4th and goal, and this is going to Pat Tap. This is going to Pat Tap. We just had to hope that he actually got open. Well, Fresno State is going to go 5 wide after our last drive, which I find very, very interesting. I didn't think that it was going to last for long, though, and it didn't. We are waiting for that scramble. Prince Cottenham gets out there, hit stick, fumble it. What are we going to have to do to get a stop against Fresno State? RPO bubble is looking really nice for him. What I want to see is one of our blitzes to get in, and Matthew Sherrills is going to miss that tackle. I took him out of position. It was my fault. Now Fresno State is most likely going to just get a touchdown to end this 3rd quarter. It's going to be from the 8. Here we go. Some of the most important moments in Hawaii football history. Are we going to be able to continue our momentum of success throughout this season? 3rd down. We have already set the spy out there on the field, but we're stuck in hard flats. And we're going to get the interception. Quinn Williams, why are you taking this out? Why would you ever take this out? I want to be excited. I really do. But that is just a scary spot to put us in. Get around him. Get around him. All right, let's see if Fresno State runs some man-to-man coverage here. I think we're going to have Ronnie Malik. We actually control this game now. I mean, that was just such a huge turnover. It's not as big of a deal as their pick 6 to end the first half, of course, but it's close to it. I don't love how our offensive line is just getting thrown to the side, though. This play, that's not going to happen, so we get 7. Honestly, there isn't that much time left in this game if you really think about it. This could be the final drive. That is how determined I am to protect this home winning streak. We just need to keep on converting first downs. To be honest, this is most likely the look that we want. Brandon Gibbons is going to run. He's short. However, I just have to believe in this team. 3rd and inches. Ronnie Malik. They get a hand on it. Okay, we have to go for it on 4th and inches. We have to go for it on 4th and inches. And we got it. Colt Simon off to the races. He has saved the day. I was so worried they were going to get a good block shed there. Okay, we need a defensive stop still because we scored so soon. I don't think you understand, though. I'm just not stressing about it in the same way. Looks like they are going to go over the middle. Could have picked it. Now, we are the team running our cover 2 man, and Parker Graves can't tackle him before the marker. Neither can someone else. We'll bring down Prince Cottenham on this play. We're really just trying to make sure they don't get a huge look deep. We are going to have to switch to zone coverage for this play, though, because I knew that they were going to run this, and man-to-man was not in the right position. Well, on third down, looks like they are going to be able to beat us there. They are now sitting at the 20. Jermaine Judge is finally making his impact. Jeff Bakersville is opening up and make that mistake. Make one more mistake. It's going to be a touchdown, isn't it? It's a touchdown. Okay. They're just going to break off of so many tackles. They're hitting us with 6-7. That is the type of stuff that just makes you feel helpless. However, Heisman shifty, let's go to work. It is now 2nd and 6. Pat Tapp is going to be open immediately on this play. We still have plenty of time to move this rock, and we are going to be able to get rid of this. It does seem like they're going to hit us with man-to-man coverage here, so we're going to either throw it to Carter Cager, or we're going to go deep. How did they get that pressure? I really do not want to be punting this ball back to Fresno State, and I think we got him. Brandon Gibbons just stepped up in such a huge way. All of a sudden, we need to roll out, and we're going to get rid of this one too. I'm not taking any risk. Okay, we still have 3 timeouts left too. We know that we aren't far from field goal range. I think they're about to hit us with zone coverage though. 3rd and 11. They do. And look at who we have, Luis DeMarco. He's one of our highest overall receivers, but I have him as our 5th string because we just didn't need him that much. We're going to set up for 3. Fresno State can try to ice us, but they're going to block the kick. We are just meant to lose this game. We're meant to lose. I should have known all along how this was going to go. Our home winning streak potentially being snapped here. I don't like any bit of this. Parker Graves, get there. I knew they were going to hit us with a flag. It's unfortunate. Everybody saw where the ball was going. It is what it is. If we are going to stop Fresno State, it is from this spot on the field. And they're testing us. Jermaine Judge with the catch. I am feeling all the pressure right now, even though we have the home field advantage. It does not feel like it. On 2nd down, absolutely nowhere to run. Fresno State has done a decent job at stopping Colt Simon, even though he does have over 200 yards in this game. There we go. We might as well just see if he's able to take this in as well. No reason to run anything else. We kicked the extra point because I just want to send it to another overtime. This is where I get really stressed, though, because needing a 2-point conversion is a whole other issue. Here we go. 1st and goal. We're going to throw it to him. He breaks the tackle. Fresno State can kind of tell that we just want to run the ball with him, but we can't do it. I think the best thing we could do is get them spread out. We're going to go 5 wide. And Brandon Gibbons is going to run. Brandon Gibbons gets in. You might question the decision-making here, but we are running the same play for the 2-point conversion. I don't think that they would expect us to do the same thing twice. Ronnie Malik with the catch. Okay. We are feeling a little bit better. We just need 1 stop. Are they going to try to run the ball here? Absolutely not. They are going to the air, and we're all around it. Why would you punch it like a volleyball? We had the win. We had the win in our hands. I've never seen him punch it like that. And instead, that's how it's going to end. Okay. 2nd down. No one's there. Oh, he's open. Sky Priestley catches it. Time to get a stop in the 8. You know, one thing we haven't done a good job of is getting blitzes in because they took the last blitz that we sent straight to the house. I don't like how they're motioning Sky Priestley out here either. Throw it to him. See what happens. All right, it's now 2nd and goal. This is going to be a pass. They're not going to run it. And Matthew Sherrills, don't test Matthew Sherrills. We're going to survive against Fresno State. It has been done. I was so worried there. I thought that we were actually going to lose this game. This and the Boise State one, pure cinema. It just doesn't get much better than that. Of course, Brandon Gibbons had his mistakes, but he also was able to throw for so many yards. Colt Simon had a good game. This was just that type of shootout that's enjoyable, stressful, everything. I am sweating after that one, but we deserve the win. It looks like we are going to land on starting receivers win a beach volleyball tournament +2 catch each. That's what I like to hear. Guys like David DeMarco just got even better. Look at his catching stats in his sophomore season. I could not be happier than I am. We still have 4 games left in the regular season and a conference championship appearance. If Colt Simon can get to about 2,000 yards like Winston Malone, he might just get that Heisman Trophy. I mean, we're still throwing for more than we rush, but not by much. We also just need to be the highest ranked group of 5 team to earn a spot in the college football playoff. You don't even need to be a conference champion though I have a feeling if we want to get there, we're going to have to win out, maybe not against Notre Dame, but still beat another team like Boise State. What would be a dream scenario, though, is Boise State doesn't even make it to the conference championship game. I just have a feeling they probably will. 3 of our last 4 games are going to be on the road. Some of the best players for Oregon State are their linebackers, so that might help them in shutting down the run. I just can't imagine that outside of Brad Dorman, they have too many threats on offense. Okay, Calvin Jones is injured. Thank goodness he is with his 93 speed. The receivers, though, we could press these guys. I don't think that they're going to get much separation. That's a good little scouting report for us right before this game against the Beavers. I have to say, every game before we start, my team builder just freezes like this for about 15, 20 seconds. So I'm getting very worried that as this series goes on, stuff just might not work. I guess I should just be happy that I'm able to even play with them in the first place. It looks like our key to the game is just start fast, stay focused. I think that is just a given. Anytime that we have done that this season, we've had no issues winning. Are we going to be capable of doing it, though? Parker Graves just got routed up. It doesn't matter if they're going to throw it straight into Wiley's hands. Jatavius has already gotten us the ball on the 40-yard line, and we are doing exactly what we need. 2nd and 12, just going to go with the speed option to the outside, and there's so many defenders all over us. I really do like this play that we found against Fresno State, though, and it would work if we had more time. They had a linebacker in the perfect position to stop us there. This field goal is going to be short. We had an opportunity against the Beavers, and we literally just did not capitalize on it at all. Now they're breaking off of a tackle. We're missing another. Let's not let this game get out of hand, though. I didn't even know that read was in their option. We are watching for the QB keeper just because we know he has speed. If he does keep it, we're going to be in some trouble. This is the first time we've ever snagged an interception with our defensive line, though. Are you serious? We just got a pick 6. Chester Vernon with the luckiest play of all time. I cannot believe Oregon State has already thrown 2 interceptions against us, but they might be setting up for a third. We will sit here in man-to-man coverage. We will make them beat us through the air, and they're going to run it, but we're all over him. I'm starting to see why Oregon State has had a little bit of a rough season. And just wrap up, Jatavius Wiley can. Our offense didn't really look good with the rain coming down as hard as it has. I'm really not all that concerned, though. It's early on in this game. Can we juke out those defenders? We can. At some point, we will just get things going. Oregon State is pressing, but they have 2 high safeties, so there's no need to try and beat the press. We'll do something a little bit more creative on this play. Going for a huge gain, and are we going to connect? We do. Look at Brandon Gibbons, man. So inspirational sometimes, the way that he is able to just throw that rock, and that touchdown is coming soon. It might be J.J. Bradley's as well, because unfortunately, Colt Simon was a little beat up. I don't even feel bad for Oregon State. This is exactly what we need. That could have been a pick 6 that made it 21-0, but no, we dropped the ball, and instead, it'll be 3rd down. We joined this conference for more competition. I'm not sure if we've really gotten that so far outside of a couple teams. That right there was exactly what worried me about the Beavers, though. They have a QB that can run. If Brad Dorman can stay in this game for a while, there could be some problems that come from it. Looks like he's about to face the pressure, though. And Jatavius Wiley, don't slip. Don't slip. Get off. This could be a pick 6. What is happening? I've never seen our defensive line do this. I understand it's wet. I understand the ball is slipping around everywhere. But 2 defensive line picks, we haven't had a single one this entire series. This is literally the greatest thing of all time. Their man-to-man coverage, it's just not going to work. Ours sure has, though. We're going to get them onto a 3rd and 12 here. And is he going to scramble again? No, they're going to try and thread the needle. It's kind of funny. Then we work really hard to get them onto a 3rd and long. There's just no way that that's going to work. There was always the chance, though, that once again, they find success once they get to that 3rd down spot. With them punting it back to us, we're going to let that just go. My goal is to work it down the field to take the rest of the first half with us and end this half up 28-0. If Oregon State were to get back into this game, this is their chance. They've gotten us onto a 3rd and 9. And I threw it straight at him. You might argue that we haven't really been locked in for this game, but we haven't had to be. There's been so much that has gone our way on defense. Offense has done almost nothing. I mean, that's the hope that Oregon State is clinging on to, that if our offense hasn't come alive yet, maybe they still have a chance. Let's not forget Brad Dorman has thrown 3 interceptions, though. He is due for a 4th at some point. He's a fast quarterback. Everything else, well, that kind of just goes out the window. We will see if they decide to run the ball on 3rd down and we miss the tackle. Okay, they're back. What did I say? There was a world where Oregon State could still find their way back into this game. However, We find David DeMarco. The weather has also just gotten better in this one, and I think we're about to have a huge gain. Just let me snap this football right now. Malachi Livens is going to be so open. It's a hard spot for the Beavers to be in because they're going to go with some man-to-man coverage here, but Brandon Gibbons had a clean pocket. He will find David DeMarco. We are also going to come out in this third quarter with a very huge play. It turns out if we want, we can just throw the football against Oregon State. That option route really messed us up there, though. Ronnie Malik is going to get no separation. Maybe this one is not over. 3rd and long. The plan was always go over to Colt Simon and let him find the end zone. It's safe to say from that moment, we would just close it out. We didn't really score after that, but we really just wanted the game to be over. For Colt Simon, it wasn't a great stat line. He really needed that receiving touchdown. We will gladly take whatever bonus we can get from the wheel, though. And it looks like our starting linebackers have been on a team hike. They get some stamina. All of these guys like Jatavis Wiley are juniors, so this is going to help us for 2 seasons. I will say, though, one of y'all suggested a different group activity to boost stamina that wasn't a team hike, and I am glad that we decided to go with that. You can take your guesses as to what that was. We have 263 coach points to spend. We made sure that we could scout every position group a little bit faster. We have also made sure to go down the tactician pathway to boost our offensive defensive line stats and our quarterback's accuracy. This is where I think I really want to start going down the strategist pathway, though. As you can see, we could have bigger impacts with our visits. We could also have lower deal breaker thresholds. It looks like we're just going to have to purchase a few extra abilities to spend 200 in recruiter. Now strategist becomes available to us. We still have 100 that we could spend. I think we're going to put our emphasis on defensive backs first, though, and we have nothing left. My entire reasoning for that's very simple. Of our 4 best corners, 2 of them are going to graduate, and then James Paul and Dwayne Mahoney are probably going to ask for so much money. Then at free safety, we're losing Matthew Sherrills and Caden Cook. We're going to lose Prince Cottenham. We only have a year left with Emmanuel, who is 84 speed. We basically are going to need more and more good defensive backs, and D'Angelo Bakatari and Jason Hurley is only the start of that. Unfortunately, I have noticed on Jarius Lemon that Alabama, with their Tier 5 pipeline, is coming after him. So we have a Week 11 visit. We are going to schedule guys like Rodney Merrill, a receiver, to come to our school then. Every visit cost us $40, though, because we're stuck in Hawaii and the proximity to home bug is still in here. Since these guys aren't in California, though, and they're not from Hawaii, I think either way it was going to cost us $40 no matter what. Before any of those visits can happen, though, we got Washington State, and there's a 50% chance of precipitation, 34 degrees, so we might see snow instead of rain. It looks like their best player is going to be a punter, but they do have a couple of solid guys on their roster. Good thing that Reem is injured, so he won't be playing against us. Their quarterback, Jabari Morin, is going to be a 78 overall. Most importantly, though, who is going to be running the rock? Well, Jabari Moon is injured. John McCracken is injured, so this is who they are left with. Really, I think this team could be a bit better than they are. They're just dealing with so many injuries that they're struggling. It's the perfect setup for us, though. There is rain coming down. That doesn't look like it's snow to me. What would be cool is, as it gets a little colder and darker, if rain would actually turn into snow. I doubt it works that way. We were just a few degrees off from getting our first snow game with Hawaii. Eventually it'll come. In fact, when we go to Notre Dame at the end of the season, it probably will snow. It feels like most of the games this season, though, we have had some sort of weather impacting these teams. Colt Simon only got like 10 carries on the ground last week, so he was able to rest up a little bit, which he is going to need to have a successful finish to this year. Colt Simon starts the game with a 70-yard rushing touchdown. That is just unbelievable. Already putting the pressure on Washington State. Looks like they're not going to have him. Matthew Sherrills all over it, but our defensive line getting zero pressure. Not ideal at all. Is this going to be a run? No, it's a pass. So we brought down Prince Cottenham. We'll make that tackle. I'm just kind of stunned at how good Washington State's offensive line seems to be. And it was a jet touch pass. All right, unfortunately, we have no choice but to just send this blitz here. And I think they're going to run. Didn't matter. Lots of slipping going on. They are trying to respond to our huge play. And he slipped too. There is just no world where Washington State should be running the football this well against us. It's not even that disrespectful to Sensabaugh. He is a low overall. He's got like 80 speed. And you tried to keep it. We are all over it, though. You are going to have to beat us through the air. And this is a QB run. This is a quarterback run. Fine. On 3rd and 12, they are taking forever to snap the ball. And you're not open there. You can't scramble. It is Chester Vernon with the sack. And when did Chester Vernon get out there so much? He was a backup to start the season. He might still be, but if someone like Rob Jorgensen is a little bit injured, then that would impact it. It is feeling like the Colt Simon show with the way that he started this game. However, it might quickly turn into the David DeMarco show. We see that he's being pressed on the outside. We're going to look for a huge play early on, and they have the help that they need, but we can still hook up with Livings. That is the first time that he has disappointed me. He should have been able to catch that ball. Now we need a miracle on 3rd and 12, and we can't get it. Let's just hope that this punt pins them super far back. I think he's going to get over to that to scoop it up. Never mind. It'll put them at the 18. Some might argue that we're getting a little bit complacent. There was a time this season where our offense looked flawless. Almost every drive we're scoring. Even though we're still putting up good numbers against Oregon State, and we probably will against Washington State, I don't like getting stopped early on. I almost would rather just expect perfection. It's going to be 3rd and 5. We are going to go man-to-man coverage here, and they have an open drag, but he's out of bounds. The scenes in the stadium do look really neat, by the way. I do want to point that out. Shout out to Washington State, at least for their stadium. No return coming. I think with 3 touchdowns, though, I mean, that might already be enough to win the Jet Award. Here on 2nd and 6, we're going to have our hitch route. Needed to turn upfield. We couldn't, though. It is now 3rd and inches, and there's just a huge lane to run through. As we keep on trying to run the ball, though, it's nice to get a breakaway one every few carries. It's what I need to continue maintaining confidence in this approach. J.J. Bradley will get in for this next one, and we can't throw that to Pat Tap, so it's 3rd down. All right, Washington State comes out super aggressive. They're probably sending a blitz here. At the very least, we can find Ronnie Malik. If Colt Simon can just get that edge set, he might have a touchdown with this carry too. We are just pushing it down their throats. We are not stopping the run. It's very clear that Washington State cannot handle it, though they got us there. All right, 2nd and goal. We will drop back to throw, and we're going to fit it into that window. It's dropped. It's got me a little bit worried for 3rd and goal, but Ronnie Malik should be open just with the way they're coming out. Instant sack. What is the point of a rollout designed into the play if you're going to take an instant sack? Set the edge. Maybe they had an extra blitzer off of that side. They could tie things up. The rain has also gone away for them. Looks like it's going to be a carry. First play. And he has 9. Now they go to the air. It's going to be a halfback screen. It's going to lead to another 10 to 15. All right, we're stuck on Prince Cottenham here, but they've decided to send it deep. James Paul goes up for the pick, and he didn't snag it. I thought for sure we had that ball. It looked like he was going to catch it. Instead, Washington State ties things up at 10. We still have a minute 15 to score before the end of this half. However, that tackle really just saved Washington State. And what a missile. What a missile. Ronnie Malik is gone. That was just a crazy throw, a great route from him. I don't think they were expecting that in the slightest. We have got to be able to stop them on defense ourselves, though. And this can't be open. Matthew Sherrills, at least he stopped it. Well, 2nd and 10. They just take the quick read. Good look. I'm definitely getting less and less confidence in our defense as the year goes on. That was just a weird approach from the Huskies. And can we bait them? No. No, we are not playing good defense. They're going to wait until there's 4 seconds left. They're going to call their final timeout, and they are going to get this game within 4. Hang on, I guess there is still a world where David DeMarco could return this kick. He doesn't. We also had to kick it off to Washington State to start the 3rd quarter. Not that it's too much of an issue. It is now 2nd and 14, and everybody is flipping around with their coverage. That was very scary. We missed the tackle, and this is why blitzes are not good. We really need to bait them somewhere. Good hit. Maybe this could be the bubble. I'm waiting for the bubble to jump it. Unfortunately, we can't snag that. At least it is 3rd and 10. Let's get some pass rush in. Matthew Sherrills is going to be dropping back to cut that off. And that'll do. Mr. Ronnie Malik, can you please get a return going for us? I saw the potential there at least. And this carry, that'll be a first. It's been a good game for Colt Simon, but I want more. We need more. On 2nd and 6, I figured play action would fool them, but that's going to be a fumble. And they're right back in a good spot. You just see the most random things happen sometimes. You should never leave the play action designed into the play because it won't ever work out well. I shouldn't have believed in it. I should not have believed in it. 2nd and 5. They're going to have more than a first down. They're going to have a touchdown. We got to lock in. I need a break. I feel like we are just playing so poorly right now. We have to have something lucky go our way on this drive, and that's out of reach. 3rd and inches. Is Washington State going to get a lucky block shed? They do. They do. We have no choice but to punt it back to them, and losing this game would just be detrimental to our playoff hopes. 1st and 10. It's a run. We're sniffing it out. Then on 2nd and 11, they are going to go through the air. Matthew Sherrills can take away that part of the field, but not that one. We really need some of our guys to lock in. 3rd and 6. Hitch isn't there. Hitch is not there, but they're going to get the route bounce, and we couldn't get our hands on it. That is actually so tough. Nothing is worse than getting a team on a 3rd down than not stopping them. Here on 2nd and 8, they had no choice but to run it. Look at his vision. Breaking a tackle, too. I shouldn't have disrespected Kyle Sensible. I had no idea that he was like this. He's giving us issues. He's giving us issues. At the very least, they are getting a field goal out of this drive, and there's nothing we can do. They are literally missing their best 3 offensive players. Has it stopped our defense from getting shredded? No, it has not. All right, 2nd and 9. Once again, just the perfect rushing lanes. I am low-key really stressed. I am worried we are down by 10. We need to have a good 4th quarter. And I guess Brandon Gibbons is going to run. Are we going to see man-to-man coverage out of Washington State? That's the first thing that we are looking for, because if we are, it'll be cake. If they decide to switch up to zone coverage, it's a little bit harder on us, but we will still be able to do something. Here we go, 1st and 10. It looks like Malachi Livens is going to get open. None of that matters, though, if we are not able to stop Washington State. And the spin was just clean. Okay, 1st and 10. We're pressing. We are pressing and blitzing. I just lost all patience there. 2nd and 18. I think they're going to run. They do. They do. Fill up the hole. Fill up the hole. We are going to drop back into a cover 3. We have a QB spy out there, so they cannot scramble. Surely they are not just going to have this much time, but they do. They do. It's basically over. We're not beating Washington State because we aren't going to be able to stop them at the end of this game. Here we go. 2nd and 9. And they might have him. They might have him. Great defense from James Paul. Once again, though, what do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? They find him. There is no other way to put it. Barry Riggs is going off in this game. We have to score one of the fastest touchdowns ever. They're backing off of us too, which does not make my life any easier at all. There is always one team that does it. There's always one team that shocks us during a season. It's going to most likely be Washington State. At least that play has given me a little bit of hope for the next little bit. Now, we find Louis DeMarco. I don't think we can score a touchdown before the 2-minute timeout, though, which just takes away another chance where we could potentially stop the clock. What just happened? I am so confused right now. The play just stopped. We couldn't even see if it was a catch. Now they're saying it's a touchdown. This is so buggy. Who am I to question it, though? Who would I be to question it? I'm going to be honest. I really wanted to avoid double mug because something like that could happen. However, I don't know what else to do to stop the run against him. Okay, here we go. 2nd and 6. He just breaks a tackle. This is the entire game right here. And it's a run? No. Get the sack. Get the sack. He breaks off of that. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I've seen it all. I've seen it all. Congratulations, Washington State. Congratulations. You can have your win. Fully wrapped up. Just throws him to the ground. Weighs like 50 pounds less. Oh, well, whatever. We did everything we could. It just wasn't our day. It wasn't our day. It was Barry Sisk's day. It was his world. We were living in it. That's just one of the most infuriating games I think I've ever played. There were definitely mistakes on our part, but they just had everything go right. Like literally, he rolls straight into us and he just takes the hit and is able to complete that pass. It is what it is. Let's get that punishment wheel up. We might as well see what we are going to be dealing with. It will be heartbroken, our slot receiver missing a game for emotional recovery. Wonderful. Ronnie Malik just got cheated on and dumped by his girlfriend. So now we aren't going to have one of our most impactful players on offense. That is one of those losses that is just going to sting because Boise State's now number 7 in the country. We fall down to number 19. It's not like it'll completely ruin our season, but knowing Notre Dame is also coming up on the schedule, even if we won the conference, I don't think we have a path to getting a playoff berth. That loss to Oregon is at least a quality loss, but Washington State most likely will not be considered as one. Notre Dame's still top 5. That was just such a frustrating way to lose. We got to worry about UNLV here. They have a couple players that I want to focus on. The main one being Vay Asisi. He is their best defensive player, and that's who we're going to be trying to run against. I mean, their quarterback, he is not all that good, but Jeremiah Rubin, 88 speed, and we clearly struggle to stop the run. That is what we should be worried about in this game. We don't have Ronnie Malik on offense, so we might take a step back there, especially without his returns too, and let's protect the home winning streak. I think our last game was just one of those where you have to smile and laugh looking back at it. As frustrating as it was, we took the L. We dealt with the curse of a Washington State quarterback that is able to break out and be really good before he transfers to another school and doesn't stick with Washington State. On the bright side, we annihilated UNLV last season, so I am fully expecting in this game against them, we can do the same thing. In fact, if we don't, I'm gonna be shocked because I'm already looking ahead to our matchup against Notre Dame next week. We almost got that to work. If Malachi Livings would have done a hurdle for a touchdown, he might just keep his starting spot. I don't like that we're missing Ronnie Malik for this game, but this is the team to be missing him against. I also appreciate that our ranking didn't fully drop from that loss. We are still considered a top 25 team. Let's find the back of the end zone. It is Malachi Livings. It is the exact start that we were looking for, and we can't let this guy get going. Our run defense recently has been abysmal. They're bringing him over, so they'll be able to do something with the run here. Maybe not. Then they got this guy motioning over. Not good whenever we are operating out of man-to-man coverage because we're just not going to be able to catch up to him. It gets us all out of formation. He should have been following him when he motioned over, but he just sat completely still. Now we push to stop the run, and they're going to lose too. Here we go. 3rd and 7 for UNLV, and it's a QB keeper that they almost got. That was almost really frustrating. We are going to hold them to 3. Carter Cager also takes this return. Carter Cager could return this all the way. We are not missing Ronnie Malik at all. He's just been replaced by some of our other receivers. Here I was thinking that our offense might be a little bit slowed down. Really, it's just been hard to tell that we're even missing anybody on 2nd and 10. At least he is being followed here. It's going to be a toss. We're on it. We have gotten them to a 3rd and 12, and that corner route's not open, but they still find someone. I feel like some of our linebackers get taken completely out of position. On 3rd and long, they just fall back too far when we protect the sticks. We might have to actually stop doing that. This is the test of that theory. They went with a halfback draw. We are then going to come out with our offensive drive and get about 20. I want this game to be over as soon as possible. I want to rest some of our guys before we take on Notre Dame. I want us to have a fully healthy team. We haven't really dealt with many injuries so far this season, but it's just something I'm worried about. I actually think that Colt Simon has seen the football far less than Winston Malone did. No QB spy. It's been a good thing that he isn't getting as many touches, though, because during week 2, we already saw his wear and tear starting to add up. And that's when we made our adjustment. I've taken the play action off of this play so we don't get warped into a terrible animation, but there's a free rusher. I guess I need to reset the pass protection on it too. And when you do that, David DeMarco can turn this into 6. I mean, UNLV is going to have to start moving the football at some point, and they missed that throw. They caught us out of position. That was 3rd down. They literally could have just made this 21-10. Instead, I can only assume that things get worse for them from this point, and that's good news for us. All I ask for is one more touchdown. We got Heisman Shifty activated. It doesn't really feel like it, though. We're still struggling to hit that really quick stride that you look for. I don't know. There was just something about Winston Malone's build that made it even easier to do it. We still have those quick bursts of acceleration. It just isn't the same. There it is right there, though. Colt Simon gets to the 12. He is setting us up for some success. And Brandon Gibbons gets the rushing touchdown. As the 3rd quarter has gone on, we continue to be in control of this game. Malachi Livings is going to score this. We are also looking to beat UNLV worse than we did last season, and this might just happen. It was 42-10 at the moment. We have it 42-3. 4th and 2. Are we able to stop the run? Are we able to stop the run? We knew it was coming. Eventually, they would get a touchdown, and it would finish 42-10. So the exact same score as the season before. Either way, we just dominated in the 9th Island Showdown. There is a lot to be proud of. Brandon Gibbons was able to get through this game without a single turnover. Colt Simon didn't get a rushing touchdown, though, so his Heisman odds have probably gone down. He could go off against Notre Dame, though. You never know. Maybe this wheel spin gives him a stat boost. Instead, it is going to be a boost to Brandon Gibbons. He gets his feature on ESPN. That is the best thing that could have happened to him too. A +3 to all of his throwing stats. I mean, he just became a much better QB. At the same time, we have landed Jarius Lemon because he was visiting for that game, and we're probably going to sign a couple other guys that were visiting too. When it comes to these 2 stars from Hawaii, most of them have already committed, whether it's a verbal or a hard commit, so we're going to have them locked down. We're actually struggling with this 3-star gadget receiver from Hawaii. The rest of these Hawaiians, though, they are staying in the state. Then D'Angelo Bakatari, we already have talked about the gym committing to our school. But what about Rico Camarda? Are we going to be able to get him to sign? Are we going to be able to get either one of these receivers to actually settle with the Rainbow Warriors? That's what we're waiting on. Ultimately, I think we are going to have to pay a couple of them a little bit more money. It's not ideal to do this, but we are willing to do it. We are definitely seeing a big increase in our high school recruiting spend, but like I said, that facilities cost is not going to be there once we get to next season. I am also just waiting on the fundraising department to kick in, because if we get another 1700, then we are going to spend that on the transfer portal. You could argue there's a world where we should be saving all our money to get to an elite facility. I don't know if we're capable of doing that this year. It'll really all depend what happens against Notre Dame in our final game of the season and against Boise State in the conference championship, because right now it is setting up where we are going to be playing Boise State again. We're the number 12 team. Our biggest issue right now is even though we are locked for a spot in the conference championship, the playoffs are a whole other story. What we need more than ever is to shock one of the huge programs on our schedule. They're a 91 overall team. I mean, just look at this defense. I don't know how we're going to run the ball against them. I don't know how we're going to get stops because Noah Grubbs is a good senior quarterback. Their running back room is still solid. Then you know we can't be running man-to-man coverage because we will not stick with guys like Jaden McDuffie. This could go down as the hardest game that we have ever played, but it is another game of the week, another opportunity for us to raise our brand exposure, and we can't fold. If Colt Simon really wants to get himself back into the Heisman race and give him a better chance of winning it, this is his opportunity. He'll be going up against a really tough group of linebackers. We already discussed that. We have seen him thrive in these high-pressure moments, though, and first carry, already 7 yards. I think the speed option to the right side of the field is going to be absolute money here, just with the way their defense was looking. However, had to get around him. We're also not going to have any luck with audibles in this game, so whatever we select for our first play, we are stuck with it. Here on 2nd and 5, they were all over our RPO. But we are going with our trusty formation. We are coming out in 5 wide, and we are going to look immediately for Ronnie Malik. Nearing midfield now. Nobody decided to block him. I can't tell if Colt Simon is really going to have a good day or not off of these first 6 carries. What he does might have to come with some success in the air. On 3rd and 7, we're going to find him on this halfback angle route, but he cannot catch it. That is an annoying drop on his part, and I think we're just going to punt it back to Notre Dame. Try and pin them out of bounds here. What type of bounce is that going to take? We were so close to them starting on like the 2. No matter what, though, we knew to win this game, we're going to have to be able to get defensive stops against them. So it is what it is. They are going to try and throw the rock. They take the check down, which was kind of guarded. If they wanted that corner route, would have been dangerous. Looks like they are going to be running here, though. Direct snap. That's scary. All right, it is 3rd and 3. We are watching that side, but unfortunately Prince Cottenham was out of position. You can only take away so much, and are they going to bomb us deep? Prince Cottenham, you can't be out of position twice. What did I say about Jaden McDuffie? He is a scary receiver to face. This game cannot turn into BTA. The worst part, too, about our loss to UNLV is without it, we would be ranked in the top 12. Even with a loss to the Fighting Irish in this one, we could have been a playoff team. I guess we would still need to win the conference championship too, but now we have to win this game. It is very early in this one, so I'm not going to get too discouraged. However, I'm not enjoying that we are now on a 3rd and 6, and we can't connect. Okay, it's time to get aggressive. We are not punting it back to them twice. We can't go down 14-0. We are going to take this chance, and it looks like we beat the press. Can we snag it? We do. I cannot believe that we actually just brought that ball in. This won't do much. For the time being, though, David DeMarco has saved the day, and that's just horrible pass protection. I know our offensive line is not on the level that we need it to be for us to take down Notre Dame. I understand that. It doesn't make that feel any better, though. We just gave it straight back to him. Here we go, 2nd and 6. Looks like it is a read option, and they got the first down. Noah Grubbs is going to be a hard man for us to stop. This is so clearly a run that I decided to run commit, and it turned into a pass. So Good thing they only got 5. It is most likely a horrendous idea to run man-to-man here, but that's what we've opted to do anyway. And once again, McDuffie is gone. 14-0. This is not how you start against a team of Notre Dame's caliber. I am not feeling good about this one. We are going to have the RPO, but it's going to get us like a yard. I don't even know if I was able to audible what I wanted on this play either. He's short. He's short. What is up with Ronnie Malik and just falling down short of the first down marker? I'm just over it. They're going to go up 21-0. This is such a hard place to play, and we didn't come ready against them. Here we go. 2nd and 5. I saw exactly where the ball was going. It's a fumble. They got it. The question becomes, can we get them off of the field? And I think they're going to have the check down, but that's a good hit. Well, 3.5 minutes to score. 3.5 minutes to show that we belong in this game. And we need a run. We need a run. All right, that was nice, but can we step on it a little bit harder? I want to see that 99 acceleration actually in play and us make a defender miss. Everybody knows how huge this 3rd and 6 is, so the fact that we can find Ronnie Malik is major. We are literally just going to flip the play and run the exact same thing again, seeing if this can work out. Brandon Gibbons is somehow able to get a 7. Maybe we just stick in 5 wide to end this first half. Got to place that in between those zones. Well, that was one of his best passes in his career. Can't run. Let's chew the clock, though. Go back to empty stick. We still have all our timeouts to end this first half. And Carter Cager, he isn't open. I really like the double slant concept, though. And maybe it's David DeMarco that can make the play. He is having himself a game in this one. We enter the second half down by 7. That is so much better than it could have been, and you have nowhere to go. Here's my fear, though. In running man-to-man coverage, we are just going to leave somebody open, and we could not get over there with Parker Graves. Noah Grubbs sniffed it out immediately, and we're all over it. We're all over it. Okay, they're going to go 5 wide on us next on 2nd and 13. Parker Graves has a target that he has got to lock down. This is the hard spot to be in, though, unless we are on that and we make the tackle. Instead, they get a touchdown. I just can't believe it. We were literally on top of it. I might actually have to just start recruiting safeties and moving them to corner and getting their coverage better. Or maybe we have to start upgrading our tackling on our corners. We just went from feeling like we could get back into this to falling apart. David DeMarco's open, but it's a bad throw. This is such a sell from Brandon Gibbons. That's going to be intercepted. I mean, Luis DeMarco didn't even get open there. So much for having some of the best throwing stats in the country. We need a scrambling quarterback. And what we've done is we've recruited a pocket passer. Oh my gosh. That was almost a touchdown too. We're trying to get in. It's hard to still feel decent about this one. The truth is they've just outplayed us. This isn't even like the Oregon game where we could have won. It feels completely different. It feels like we have been outclassed in almost every single way. This is what we have done to some of the teams in our conference schedule. This is how I hope we continue to treat some of the teams inside the Pac-12. And it's about to be 3rd and goal. What does that mean, though, if they are able to get in? Matthew Sherrills watching for the run. And okay, we keep them out of the end zone. They're going to hit this kick, though. They're going to be up by 17. We don't have that much time left either. We haven't faced a team that has decimated our offensive line like this either. So that has been a new thing. I guess Brandon Gibbons was off balance there. He had someone open, and they're just going to be all over this. They are. By the time this one ends, there is nothing about this that I want to revisit or talk about. All it did was solidify we're not a playoff team, that we aren't going to win the Heisman Trophy with Colt Simon. On the bright side, though, we were able to sign 2 4-star receivers, both with 98 speed. We also are getting Rico Carmarda to commit to our school, so we have a 92 speed running back. It just seems almost impossible for us to get to the college football playoff ranked 18th in the country. We also have to figure out what our punishment's going to be against Boise State in that game, since we lost to the Fighting Irish, and we can't use NIL to bring back our best offensive player. I can't stress enough how frustrating of a loss this is going to be, because I am sure that Tua Faneu is going to want a lot more money. He was going to be the guy that got drafted on our offensive line that boosted our pro potential here. He was going to have another season. I guess it could be worse. We could be losing a skill position, but you build for the offensive line. Now we got to worry about the conference championship and why we can't get a playoff spot. With the new playoff rules, the highest ranked group of 6 team, they don't have to be a conference champion, gets the automatic spot. And New Mexico is ranked above us. Boise State is ranked above us. New Mexico just had an incredible season for a team that we would normally beat. The Mountain West without us went a little bit differently. And I do like to see that Boise State went number 3 in the country with 1 loss. That's actually really good. It lets me know we could get there in the future, but the verbal commitment of these 3 high schoolers, that's the biggest deal from this season. Missouri could still catch us. We haven't completely locked out these battles. We will just have to find that out at a later date. Carter Cager has also partially torn his ACL, so we are not going to see any more of him. On the bright side, I think we get to host this conference championship. We have not forgotten about Corey Daly, though, and the stress that Boise State put us under whenever we played them the first time. You know what? This season, no matter what happens here, has been really successful. Our first year in the Pac-12, we're in the conference championship, and we were thinking about a playoff appearance. It just really puts things into perspective. I mean, I know we have a couple more losses than we did last year at this point, but we also played a harder schedule than we did. And I'm proud of where we are. It's our first year. Especially if we can beat Boise State our first year in the Pac-12. That just sets a whole other standard. We've passed more than we've ran. I don't know why, but that does surprise me. I'm hoping our stadium pulse can have an impact on this game. It was not easy beating Boise State the first time. And there they go. There they go with a huge run. I have to say, our defensive line has just been so disappointing. No way they try to test us, though. Matthew Sherrills with the interception. That's actually the best thing that could have happened to us. All right, we have gotten off to a great start against the Broncos. Here on 2nd and 4, they are going to take away our drag route. We might just be recruiting a scrambling quarterback in the portal for next season. I really haven't decided. I think it would give us a higher ceiling for next year. What is our right tackle doing? I want you to keep in mind, this is like an 85 overall. Is he just taking the play off? Or are you stupid? I don't get it. I don't get it. 3rd and 20. Let's split those safeties, and let's find Luis DeMarco. This is what we are competing with. This is what Heisman difficulty does to you. It stresses you out. It gives you a real challenge. I mean, they are just getting blatantly free sacks. If you're going to do that, EA, at least make it look like he beat him on a pass rush move or something. Don't just make him not block anyone. We really do need to be locked in this entire game to come out on top. I needed a second longer. I think, unfortunately, we might be getting held to a field goal here. We are. You know what, though? They advised that we go for this, and I'm going to take that advice. I am going to go for it in this situation because I think we can pick it up. You see that right there? It's dicing apart Boise State's zone coverage. And this play, they've adapted a little bit better. Unfortunately, we are going to take the sack there. Halfback draw will get us like 5. It is starting to seem like all of this just to kick a field goal. That's what happens. What is up with this meter moving around like this too? Why is our senior kicker rattled? I'm confused why he was shaken up before that kick. I'm glad that it still went well. Matthew Sherrills is going to need another user lark, though, if we are going to get Boise State off of the field. And it looks like he could get that. He could get that. I mean, Peacock just got beat. He just got beat. That was a good throw on the run. It's a lesson of why we should be avoiding man-to-man coverage most of the time. Boise State is just having success after success now, too. And it'll be 3rd and 3. I highly doubt this is going to go the way that we want it to. However, I thought we had everything guarded. I was proven wrong, though, and you can just tell they have some sort of blitz dialed up here. We go to the sideline, and that's a diving pick. That was such a crazy play out of them. I thought we could get it there. I can't believe that he was able to hang on to it. And this is where we need that tackle. That was weird. We just cannot help ourselves with the interceptions. We really can't. I don't know why. I don't know why, but neither can they. Prince Cottenham gets us it back. Brandon Gibbons, I cannot wait until we get a faster quarterback in here. I am willing to pay so much money for that during the transfer portal period. I don't think you all understand. We actually had it too when we stopped recruiting him for whatever reason. I want our offense to be able to do a lot through the air. That's not open. I think we have just relied on the run for too long. And it's nice when it works, but Colt Simon is not Winston Malone, and that's kind of been proven throughout this season. There's their stop. This is just a horrendous offensive game. It's seeming like Boise State is going to ruin our home winning streak. We have to trust in our defense to get us this football back, and nobody's open. All right, 2nd and 10. Tight end could have been open there. However, he did not try to even force that ball there. We knew the play action was coming. and we're good. Isn't it weird how this game is such a different pace compared to the first time we played each other? It was just an offensive shootout. Now it's a defensive battle. They've held us to just 3, but we got to get the run going. That is where we are really struggling in this game. You got to just blast it in there. It is another good stop for Boise State, though, and Ronnie Malik just grabs it. Final drive of the first half is happening right now. That's my idea. What I would love is a touchdown. What we are probably going to get is a field goal. They just continue to bring enough guys into the box to prevent us from getting big runs. They have learned from the last game, which, good for them, I guess, but we need to find Malachi Livings. Okay, that right there puts us in a nice position. Now they're using timeouts because they want this football back before the second half starts. I completely understand. I think they're going to get what they want as well. We'll see. There it is, their third timeout, 3rd and goal for us. We are literally just going to run this football. I don't care if they're all over it or not. This is a touchdown or bust situation. Ronnie Malik is getting this football. Ronnie Malik is getting this football. With us only leaving like 20 seconds left on the clock, that is how the first half ends. And now we can start the second half with a breakaway touchdown run. Colt Simon has done it. Okay, I was stressing. I was not liking the turnovers. However, if this game is about to open up a little bit more, I am happy to do it with us now having a 10-point lead. And it is. It is definitely about to open up. Here we go, 1st and 10. Of course, the run is coming. They have another first down. They're going to have more than a first down. For a second, we just need to bring everybody down to stop this run because they're going to keep going back to it. They're going to keep going back to it. What happened at halftime? The run was not there until the 3rd quarter. I don't get it. We better be able to do the exact same thing that Boise State just did. I cannot believe it. We just watched our whole defensive line, our linebackers, all get flattened on every single play. I've kind of been saving this thought up, but I want to go with a halfback toss, and it's going to be J.J. Bradley out there. I mean, no matter what, I'm not sure if that was going to work anyway. We're going to see man-to-man coverage at least, and David DeMarco has it. I think we're going to see more man-to-man coverage, just leaving Ronnie Malik open. I guess they were sitting in some zone. Match at the very least. That was a little bit confusing for Brandon Gibbons, but when you have somebody that open, it's hard to mess up. We might be getting held to a field goal just with the way you can see things are going. We lose 4 yards, 2nd down. We don't get enough time. It is all lining up for this 3rd and 11 where they send in a blitz off of that side, and we're short. We're short. Okay, do we trust our offensive line? I do. I do trust our offensive line. What a 4th and inches. That was stressful right there, but we have converted. We need a touchdown. I don't want to see us just get a field goal on this drive. I want the touchdown. There you have it. Exactly what we were looking for. We are back in man-to-man coverage, and it could work. It also could give up 10. That was the coverage we stayed in on the last drive when they just ran the ball down our throats, and they're going to continue. There is only one response to this that is acceptable, and that is sending the pressure in that we are about to. We knew exactly where they wanted to go. They are in our head, though. They are countering everything we are doing on defense perfectly. I just want to see something positive on 2nd down, and they got us. They got our blitz. Okay, I felt like it was safe to assume that they were going to run, but instead they've started the 3rd quarter with even more yards, and I guess we're going zone. It is cover 3 press until they prove that they can beat it. Jet touch pass coming across, or is it a handoff, or is it trying to get someone like their tight end open? Where'd he go? Where did he even come from? I saw everybody else that was running their route, but all of a sudden he was just there. All right, 2nd and goal. They kind of got me with the play action, and just everybody's stupid. Nobody wants to cover anybody. At least we have the ball back with 5 minutes left, and Ronnie Malik almost had a return. You know, this is one of those moments where we try to open up a drive with a bang, and honestly, it's going to work. It's actually going to work. There we go. We are now sitting on the 40-yard line. We need a touchdown to feel comfortable, though. A field goal does nothing. We've also given 20 carries to Colt Simon at this point. He is going to get more and more tired. I'm a little bit upset that he just lost 2 yards. I guess that's just part of it, though. The Boise State timeout should be coming out after this run. You would think that this is where they are about to get really aggressive to stopping it, which is why we have pulled out the play action. Malachi Livings making his difference. That was exactly what we were looking for there. We kind of control the end of this one the same way that Washington State had us at the end of the game we lost. Boise State is in a tough spot. That conference championship is becoming more and more likely. What a season this has been. Okay. They get it. The longer this goes on and they just are unable to score, the better I'm feeling, but Peacock is so out of position. What I think we have learned is a lot of guys on our defense need a lot better pass coverage or they will not be starting for us next year. I'm pretty sure guys like him only have about 70, 75 zone coverage, so it makes sense. There it is. Boise State gets their touchdown, but they are not going to get the onside kick. One first down will end this game. One first down will get us the Pac-12 championship. With that pressure, I guess everybody on our team just completely forgets how to block. It is now 3rd and 11, and I don't like this. I don't like anything about this, but we have an open Ronnie Malik. Nobody was on him, and you just got to fall down here. I really thought we were giving that ball back to Boise State. Thank goodness we have been able to survive. And we have now been able to win a couple Mountain West Conference championships. We have won a Pac-12 Conference championship. We need to dominate in the Pac-12 for a while before we even consider another conference invite, and we could really set ourselves up from this conference to do bigger things. We still have to wait to see which bowl game we're participating in. After that, though, we will know what our NIL budget is going to be moving forward. We are going to get our starting corner, saving a kid from being swept away at sea. You know, I knew junior corner Dwayne Mahoney was a really good guy, but he is just proving to be a model citizen. This is a 1-game bonus. That means it is only going to help us for whoever our bowl opponent is. I don't think we have anybody in New York. I've sat here waiting on Colt Simon to see if he is going to walk out, but it turns out he is not. One of these days, we will see somebody on our team lift the Heisman Trophy. Now is just not the time for that. Now, when it comes to winning Offensive Player of the Week, Colt Simon can do that. That's not as impressive, though, as winning the Paul Hornung Award. What is this? I have not seen that one before. We take home the Doak Walker 3 times in a row, though. We are a running team. That's all it is at this point. Ronnie Malik is going to win the Jet Award. We are also going to find ourselves playing against Oklahoma State in the Alamo Bowl. It is that one loss to Washington State that has really affected us. Like I said, Boise State is going to get that bid for the highest ranked group of 6 team. New Mexico even lost to NIU. The new playoff rules just don't work in our favor as much if Boise State is going to have good seasons. We beat them twice. They're still ranked so much higher because they had 1 less loss. It is a hard pill for us to swallow. Brandon Gibbons threw 10 interceptions this year, so a little bit less than the season before. He also had more passing yards, but our main focus was Colt Simon still. On the receiving end, it looks like nobody got more than 660 yards. We kind of split our receptions out across the whole team. I'm not surprised Jatavius Wiley led the team in tackles and also interceptions. When it comes to sacks, we didn't generate as many as we typically would. Rob Jorgensen is going to be graduating. We have made 17 signings, though, up to this point to replace some of the talent that we're losing. All of these 2 stars are coming in with normal development. But once we start to see impact, I'm at least feeling a little bit better. We got star dev on Paul Key. He's a contested specialist athlete with 85 speed. Who knows where we're going to put him? D'Angelo Bakatari has elite development. So the strong safety from Hawaii looks to be the best player ever from Hawaii. We could see what overall we get him up to. Rico Camarda, normal dev. I don't like that, but we got star on both of these 98 speed receivers and elite dev on Jarius Lemon. The future is bright. I want you to forget what I said about us recruiting a scrambling quarterback. That is who we are going to be starting next year. Looks like Oklahoma State has their scrambling quarterback that they might work with, unless Frank Stark is the starter. Both of these guys, 86 overalls. Then their faster running back, Marcus Vick, isn't going to start over Greg Vaughn. So that's at least a little bit of a benefit to us. The Cowboys still went 9-4 during their season, though, so this is not a freebie at all for us in this bowl game. We are going to have to work hard if we want to make it to 11-3. I guess something else that's important to note about this game, it is the last time a lot of these guys could play for Hawaii. Not just seniors either. David DeMarco might ask for too much money once we get to the offseason. We already are losing our starting left tackle because of the wheel spin that we landed on. There's just losses like that that won't come back. Then you have the seniors, Colt Simon, Brandon Gibbons. There are a lot of those too. We are just going to have a lot of work to do after this game when we get ready for next year. I really enjoy the final part of these episodes, though, where that is how we wrap things up, where we build for next season. Some might even say it is my favorite part. Nobody out there on Colt Simon. He'll get us to the 26. Now we run it with him and we lose 3. I'm really hoping our team prestige is able to increase to 3-star team prestige too. That'll just open up even more support staff that we can buy. Trust me, that is a major deal. 3rd and 12. We're just waiting for him to get open, and Ronnie Malik drops it. It's a tough drop. We are also just noticing a crazy meter for Raheem Rivero. I don't know why. It's the second time it's happened. He's been such a consistent kicker for us, but they're acting like he gets rattled when he doesn't. Outside of our linebackers on this defense, a lot of these guys are seniors as well, so could be the last time people make tackles. Not James Paul. He's a junior. He will ask for more money. There's a face mask. That's just not a good tackle from him. You all have probably gotten so used to me using with Matthew Sherrills, though, over the years. He's gone. Quinn Williams, who just made that tackle, he's gone. Prince Cottenham, who I'm on right now, he's graduating. Rob Jorgensen up on the defensive line. He will be gone. Can we slow him down? Not pick up the first. That is exactly what we needed. Both of our teams are going to get held to just a field goal. Looks easy for them. I really don't know who we are going to find to put at running back for next season. I don't think they can live up to Colt Simon. He has still rushed for almost 1,800 yards and won the Doak Walker Award. They definitely won't live up to Winston Malone. The 4-star running back that we signed too, I guess he could be the starter, but with normal development, I just don't know how his career will pan out. Malachi Livings turning this into a major play. Why are you walking? There is no excuse to just be standing around there. An extra block, we have a touchdown. I don't understand the low effort. I don't like it. 2nd and 6 now. Brandon Gibbons making a hot route. We aren't going to feed this to Ronnie Malik most likely, but we are waiting to feed it to Malachi Livings. We could use a contact seeker at running back for situations like this. Colt Simon just seemed to handle that pretty well, though, and they're going to hit us with play action. Somebody is getting open here. Somebody is getting open. On 2nd and 2, they are just throwing the ball because they know they can, but Jatavius Wiley gets another interception, and he is going to take this all the way. That is exactly what I want out of the junior, and we go up 17-3. He is having himself a day, though the QB keeper, little bit dangerous there. If they decide to run the ball, especially against cover 2 man like this, we are going to be in some trouble. All right, we are stuck on Mick Russ. This is not a good spot to be in, but Rob Jorgensen gets the sack. You know, Oklahoma State is not representing the Big 12 very well right now because this just seems easy. I think they played in the Big 12 Conference Championship too because they've played in 13 games so far this season. So this is one of the best teams that the Big 12 has to offer at this point in the dynasty. The Pac-12 might be near their level, maybe not depth-wise, but at the top of it, us and Boise State, I would say, are both better than whoever was able to win this conference. I don't think it was Texas Tech. We'll have to figure all that out after this game. Here on 2nd and 5, we're going deep. We are going deep. We have the time to do it, and it's out of bounds. It's inaccurate. I don't understand how that happens either because Brandon Gibbons has almost perfect accuracies. He had a clean pocket right there, and yet he still missed that throw. It's not going to matter because Ronnie Malik's going to score right here, but it just makes you wonder. Don't tease me with a good time getting all of the NIL stuff going. We might be starting that sooner than we would think. I mean, we just got another 3rd down stop, and this return is not going to work. It doesn't mean we're not going to score on this drive, though. With a long drive, I'm expecting a touchdown. Here on 2nd and 13, we had to get rid of that one. It turns out they might actually get us off of the field, but at the same time, it looked like we had Ronnie Malik open, and now they're at the 10. Okay, this game is far from over. They move him to this side of the formation. That's actually wild. That's how they did it, too, because I had shifted our guys to stop a run to the other side, and he just can't be open. He just couldn't have been open. Do we think they are bold enough to run it on 3rd and 3? I did not. I did not. And it's a fumble. They got that? Okay, that's a little bit lucky from them, but they're giving us 75 seconds. That is plenty of time for us to cook up something with Hawaii here, especially with a 10-yard start. We just need to look at some of our guys underneath, and neither one of them are open. Who's the flag on? It's going to be against Oklahoma State. That was just a toss-up right there. Could have been on us. That'll give us 53 seconds, and we'll fall down. I don't like that this bug is still in the game where we hurry up, and we aren't able to see all the routes. It genuinely just ruins hurry up mode in the first place. Not sure how that is still being missed, but we're going to look outside. Malachi Livings breaks off of the tackle. How is he still up? The touchdown is coming soon, and I think it's going to go to the Hawaiian because it's cover 3. because it's cover 3, and he's got it. I feel like it's pretty understandable that from that moment, we were able to just run away with this one. We win 45-16. It is going to be the last time that Brandon Gibbons steps on the field for us. He still did a lot of great things for this program. We have to say goodbye to Colt Simon after just 1 year. We also get to spin this wheel one final time. If you all don't like the idea of wheels, I just won't do them again. I feel like it adds a little something, though. One of our local Hawaiian 1-stars has broken out. That's actually one of the best ones that we could have gotten, because we have signed some guys from Hawaii, like Caleb McMichael, but is a 62 overall. He has just felt utterly useless. He's got 78 speed. It looks like now that he has broken out, though, he is a 72 overall, and he could actually be a little bit more useful to this team. 82 speed is still pretty slow, so we're going to probably focus on that during the offseason training results. Even if he's a backup for us, though, that is a major win. Now, we could hire a couple of these guys as our defensive coordinators. We just don't really have the money to afford them. The most we can spend is 55, so I doubt he accepts. Never mind, though. We are able to get another tactician in here, and we'll take it. It looks like Boise State, by the way, was able to beat Utah. That was the team that won the Big 12, so the Big 12 was not better than the Pac-12. They also beat Miami, then got pounded by Oklahoma, who won the national championship over Notre Dame, who beat us. I think all of that says a lot about the season that we had. Now, our facility cost has gone down, but we are spending a little bit more on high school recruits than ever before, alongside our support staff, so our dynasty budget is only sitting at $1,700. However, this is still incredibly impressive. Our stadium atmosphere, making it up to a C- is impressive. Our brand exposure is increasing, and all of this should continue to go up season after season. Unfortunately, we are going to have to say goodbye to Tua Faneu just because of what the punishment wheel said. We cannot pay him any money. He's going to decide to leave. In my eyes, though, Dwayne Mahoney is worth as much as it's going to take to get him to stay. We're also going to decide to pay Louis DeMarco instead of Malachi Livings, just because statistically, I think Luis DeMarco could get drafted, and they are going to cost about the same. For all these other guys, you know we're going to make sure that they are coming back. We still have to convince them to return, though, which is really stressful. David DeMarco, you are going to stay. Okay, that's the biggest one of all of these. Obviously, Diego Risi, I still need him to return because he's one of our offensive linemen that are going to start. But I was really worried about David DeMarco. Dwayne Mahoney has decided he wants to enter for the pro draft, and we can't persuade him to stay. That is a huge loss. Sean Marcus wouldn't really be a huge loss. He's just a backup quarterback that'll never see the field. But now we have to say goodbye to a lot of graduates as well. Raheem Rivero really held it down for us. Rob Jorgensen, he was incredible. Trey Sheffield, we haven't seen him on the field for a bit. J.J. Bradley, just a common name at this point. Prince Cottenham, Quinn Williams, Caden Cook. You got Truly Bell III, just guys on defense that made a difference. I mean, there are so many starters, from Mick Rust to Alfonso Pope. Alfonso Pope just didn't block one guy this season. Brandon Gibbons, Frederick Bragg. A lot of starters are now gone. Carter Cager even. Now, you know I have to do some of these last-second upgrades on these players to hopefully boost their overall and get them drafted. It is going to lead to far more players from Hawaii getting drafted than I thought we would ever see. We actually were able to put 8 different guys into the NFL, including Brandon Gibbons. You know, that's another thing that'll say a lot about our program. We have gotten up to a 3-star team prestige. Our home winning streak is up to 23 games, too. We are really starting to come around to the idea of success, and even some of these transfers ranked near the top 200 are willing to come to our school for completely free. I always look at players from Hawaii first. Whenever we get to the transfer portal period, at least we know there's one guy that we can snag. What I always like to do in the first week is look at a lot of different players. If I see something special in them after scouting, then maybe we decide to target them. But like 84 speed on a running back, I'm never going after that. And hang on, this quarterback, no, he's just not good enough. With only 725 hours to spend, it's more than we've ever had in the portal before, but it is still hard to manage. We have to beat out California for that strong safety from Hawaii. Lots of 2-star transfers, but there's a 4-star transfer in Jeffrey Wall. We're bringing him on a visit alongside some of these other defensive players because we need to beef up our defensive line. That was one of our biggest weaknesses. We also have to make sure that we get some corners into the program, so that's what we're focusing on here. Once we start to get signings like this as well, then it'll be a lot easier for us to start putting those hours towards other players. However, there can also be the frustrating bit where you just don't have the pipelines to win some of these battles even after the visit. So We're going to go back. We're going to look at all of these. We might not be able to catch SMU on Connor Sims. The best thing we can do is try. We've already maxed out the money, so we're going to schedule him for a visit. Then we're also going to hit him with a complimentary. This should help us land free safety Tyree Fehoko over Texas. Texas coming back into this battle is going to be a little bit of an issue. We also might decide to not just have Jarius Lemon on our team. He could still be our starter next year. Elite Dev is not something you want to pass up. A 6'4 quarterback, not something you want to pass up, but Max Massey, nobody seems to want to transfer, and he has 86 speed, 89 throw power. He's that fast quarterback that we're looking for. We have the extra NIL laying around. It doesn't make sense for us to not at least take our shot. It looks like that is going to be a good shot as well as we head into the final week. Now, we're beating out Texas. There's still another week of recruiting. These are just things to keep in mind. Did we get the 4-star linebacker? We're in a battle with Kansas State. Honestly, if we want to sign Jeffrey Wall, we are most likely going to need to pay about $160, and I think that'll lock it in. If it doesn't, though, we already know that we have 3 senior linebackers that are going to step up. I'm just thinking more towards the future with a signing like that, because we're not going to have around seniors forever. Now, we've brought in a lot of guys from Hawaii so far. There is Jeffrey Wall. The kid from Virginia is making a very long journey to play for the Rainbow Warriors. We also got some cheeks. The corner is going to be normal development. Same for Wilkins, which is a little bit of a letdown. We also lost out on Max Massey, but for a normal dev quarterback, Florida State can have him. I wanted him because I thought he was going to have a little bit higher potential star dev on a center. You know, offensive linemen with good dev traits don't seem to be too challenging to find. Jeffrey Wall is normal development, though. We get star dev on a running back that is an elusive bruiser with 90 speed. Niles Keough could be our starter. This was a very good class for us too. I'm actually glad that we didn't overspend on another QB. We spent $1,500 on the class, the most I think we've ever spent on a recruiting class. When it comes to the #1 transfer class, that belongs to us somehow. Inside the Pac-12, Boise State is putting together really good recruiting classes too, so they're the one school we have to worry about. Fresno State maybe is a third. I'm just starting to take some notice. Tyler Carrizosa, after training results, is going to be better than Jarius Lemon, but I think we still start the 74 overall true freshman. One move that we have to make in position changes is getting some of these starting corners over to safety, because he just cannot operate as a man-to-man corner. We also have Paul Key, the star dev athlete that we have to assign to a position, and I think we're going to make him a corner and then work on his speed, redshirt him, give him some time to get all of those skill points up, because again, star dev, he will get a lot. The dev trait upgrades got to start coming through too. Jatavius Wiley has gotten his dev trait upgrade. That's good going into his senior year. That is it. It's important to note that we're going to have $1,500 available in our Dynasty Points budget still after all that we have spent, about $2,000 on this roster. So I assume a lot of that is going to go towards our new support staff position, since with a team prestige of 3 stars, we can now get a 3rd support staff. It feels like everything's trending in the right direction, though Niles Keough, the running back that just transferred in, we aren't able to get his elusiveness up anymore. I don't think increasing his IQ is going to do too much, so we're going to make him a little bit stronger, but that's it. When it comes to who our starting running back is, we might be in some trouble, because nobody is this standout player. We're probably just going to use all 3 of these backs in different ways, though they all seem to be about the same speed. And we ran with John Burfict throughout the season. We ran with Tyreek. It didn't feel as smooth as some of our previous starters. Where we have issues at that position, though, we will not have issues at other positions like receiver, because David DeMarco is up to an 88 overall. Ronnie Malik has been able to make it up to an 86 overall, and we have 2 freshman 98 speed receivers coming in. We are also going to have guys on our defensive line like Chester Vernon who have pocket disruptor. We need to get him inside disruptor throughout the season. He is getting up to 90 power moves. He is going to have 91 block shedding. He is going to be able to generate pressure. I think the team is going to feel really well balanced. Our best defensive player will be James Paul with his 98 man coverage, his 90 speed. And we have a lot of young guys that are going to get a chance to step up. You know, I think this is now the 2nd year that we have finished number 13 in the country. Even though it seems like a little bit of a down year, it was still a huge year for us. We're going to have a lot of inexperience coming in. I am pumped up for our future. I hope you all are still as excited as I am for this Hawaii series. I will see you all in the next season, and we'll see how far that team can take us.